Alright boys, we are live.
Game on.
Game on.
Live.
It's called APC-PODCAST, our first ever.
Fuck yeah.
Give it a whirl, we'll see how we go. Sunday sesh with the boys, APC Salonius co-hosting, and we're going to interview Bevo.
Bevo.
Indeed.
Bevo, as he's known these days.
Fuck off.
Durin gave him that name.
Fucking bear.
I suppose we should start from the top.
Start firing questions, brother.
The top is...
Bottom, now we're here.
How did APC first pick you up, mate? Where did we first meet you? Because I don't remember.
So, it was... You met Zach before me. Big Zach. Or not Big Zach.
Wildlife.
Skinnier than me. That was when I was taking him deer hunting and we'd shoot anything that would move. And I got him onto the hunter. He's got a PS4. And he met you fellas and said, I met this cool crew of Australian fellas, you've got to jump in for a chat. And that was the first time I ever met you, Kill.
Yeah.
Jumping in with Zach. Now that's how it started, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what my name was back then. It wasn't obviously it wasn't APC-Bevo. It must have just been Bevo or something, Chris Beverly. I think I just started playing with you, and one thing led to another, and that was it.
I think it was Bevo. And I remember the first night I started talking to you, Luna must have been going off. She was going off, dude. And it was kid crying in the back. You know what I'm like with kids crying and stuff. And Bevo had the kid crying in the background. I'm like, oh my god. Who we got here?
Look out, here we go. Another one of those.
Yeah, I think that's how it happened.
That sounds about right. What's just cracking a dart.
Yeah.
What's been the best thing about APC for you, dude? As a
Boys,
group.
The brotherhood, meeting mates. I never ever thought I would meet cunts online. I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go fishing, or fuck, let's do this, do that. I never thought I'd meet a cunt online and go to his fucking wedding. Mate, that's probably the coolest thing for me, meeting some other like-minded Aussies.
Yeah, sometimes work out to be best mates.
That's it. It's fun
In the long
to
run.
man.
Yeah, it's good when you find a group like that, isn't it?
Technology these days allows you to do that, I suppose.
We're basically sitting next to each other playing poker right now.
That's it. Fucking crazy.
That's good. I've got a big queen here, boys. I'm gonna raise this one.
I got the 6. It's all yours.
King 9.
Let's do it. So, what's your favourite hunting on the hunter? What's your favourite? Do you have a favourite moment in general?
Favourite mate? Probably the other day when I smashed those 3 diamond whitetail off one lake, man. Out of one hog. I think that's the highlight of my hunter call the wild career.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Definitely sticks out.
I've never seen it. Alright, tell us a bit about yourself, man. Where did you grow up when you were a kid? What were you doing? What sort of mischief were you getting into?
Fuck, where do I start? Born and bred in Coffs Harbour, just south of Coffs Harbour, 20 k's in Tormina. Grew up just fishing, running amok, and I didn't really start getting involved with the ocean until I was probably 7 or 8. So it was just fishing the rivers and doing the young kid thing. And as soon as I was allowed on the rocks, I would have been 9 or 10. I started fishing with the old man off the stones for probably a year and a half. And as soon as he gave me the green light to fish on the stones by myself, that was it. I was all about it. Before school, if the surf was shit, go ledge fishing, go to school, ride big bushy from school, straight there, back down the ledge, fish till dark, ride home. Every day, just all about fishing, all about the ocean. Anything I could do in the ocean, I was there. And I was probably started working at IGA when I was 13. I started in the meat department, packing meat when I very first opened. It was Action back then, it wasn't even IGA. And,
Action?
Action.
So what it was called?
Yeah, Action, yep.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was like IGA bought them out. It was just like a smaller chain. Anyway, I started working in there, and I'd done 2 weekends, like Saturday and Sunday, 10-hour days, and then they had no more work. So it was just the opening of the meat department. Like we're doing 100 lambs a day, and then cutting them into side packs, like half lamb packs. And as soon as the big opening was done, I got laid off out of the meat department, and I went and seen the lady in the seafood department, because that was the only other thing I knew how to do. I was like, well, I know how to fill a fish, and I know how to hold my own, talking shit about eating fish. I was like, fuck, go and hit her up for a job. So Sue, her name was. She was a wild old cow, old pisshead, just fucking feral, man. Anyway, went and seen her. I was like, look, I've been fishing my whole life. I know a fair bit about fish. And she pulled all the tags out of the ice tray out the front. And she goes, what's this, what's that, what's this, what that? And I was like, rightio, named them off. She's like, yeah, mate, no worries, I'll give you 15 hours a week. I was like, right, that's a fucking start, sweet. I was still going to school. Anyway, I worked in the seafood department for probably 6 months until I was 14, or just before I turned 14. And I always had the Saturday, Sunday shit, because I was the youngest cunt in the seafood department, so they just put me on the weekend so everyone else could have the weekend off, which I didn't give a fuck about. It was cruisy as. Anyway, it's like the seafood department started slowing down, so I was bored shitless just sitting there clock watching. And there's an in-store bakery right straight across from the seafood department, like 20 metres. And I'd sit there and I could see the donut machine from through the front counter, and I'd sit there watching this lady make donuts, and it just amazed me. My mum always worked in bakeries growing up, and I got to handle a bit of dough and do a bit of this, do a bit of that. So it always it had me interested. Anyway, it was one Saturday morning, and I'd go to work at 5 o'clock, and I'd have everything set up by 7, all the seafood out the front and shit, and all the prawns defrosted, all right as rain, good as gold, ready to go. And I'd be bored shitless, so I started going over to the bakery and asking if I could do anything to help. And I met Matty Degnan, and he ripped me in, and he goes, yeah, you want to make donuts for us? He goes, I've seen you sitting there watching, I can't even remember, Louise, old Lou, that was her name. We used to call her Nanatang, because she sweat heaps out, big fucking sweaty patches under her arms and up her ass crack in the white fucking bakery clothes. And we call it Nanatang. Anyway, fucking jamming for Sheila, absolutely lovely lady. Anyway, she taught me how to make donuts, and I was a cocky young cunt back then. I was like, I can make donuts, I can make anything in this bakery, mate. He's like, yeah, you want to learn how to make bread, you want to do this, you want to do that. So I started learning bread and cakes, and I was just going over there like every Saturday and Sunday morning just to help them out. Anyway, it's probably, I'd been doing it for probably a month and a half, just like jumping in and helping them out. And then Scotty is the biggest cunt you've ever seen in your life, this fuck. I think he's 7'2". He's massive, like I have to look up at him. Huge, big, staunch, but skinny fucker, right? He's massive, but it's just a gentle giant. Fuck, the biggest sook. Anyway, he came up to me one day, and he goes, mate, would you be interested in an apprenticeship? I was doing your baking apprenticeship in the bakehouse. He goes, I've got 2 openings, and I've already found one young fella. He goes, I know that you've been helping the crew out, you want to jump over to us, and I'll put you on full time. Fucking let me at it, cunt. So that was the first rave I'd ever been to, right? Castle Party. None of us had our licences. We knew the older crew in Saudi that all went doofing and shit, and me and Marnock, he's my best mate growing up, he's dead now. But we knew all the older crew were interested in going doofing, and it was the first time I ever hit the piss properly. Like it was I had to start work on the Monday, right? I had to start my baking apprenticeship on the Monday, the party was a Saturday night. He called me at like lunchtime. He's like, cunt, I can get us tickets. You want to go? I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it, cunt. We'll get a lift out there. So he went down. He got his old girl to buy a box of Old Crow bourbon, poxy cheap bourbon. We got a packet of Winnie Blues and a packet of Winnie Reds. Got a lift out. Oh man, first time I'd ever drank piss, never smoked ciggies. Right, we went out. I thought I was the man. I fuck yeah, I'm fucking going up, starting my apprenticeship on Monday. This is fucking tits. Let's go and celebrate, cunt. Went out, drank a whole box of tinnies, smoked every cigarette we had. Right, didn't sleep. Got dropped back at mum and dad's place at 7 o'clock Sunday morning. I laid down and my head just started spinning. Oh, that was it. I was out the back spewing, 3 doors down, could hear me. A couple of days later, I'm like, fuck, you go out and give him a piss, the old man flogged you or what? I was like, nah, he just sat there and laughed, spewed me cunt out, went back to bed, couldn't sleep, man. Tried to sleep all day, couldn't sleep. Anyway, I tried to sleep all day, couldn't sleep. Old man made beef stew, right? I'll never forget it. I had a bowl full of beef stew, 2 bits of toast, and just projectiled it all through me. Projectiled it. I was crook. I was proper crook. I thought I was going to die. Like, I'd never been hungover before. I just, no sleep, and absolutely wrecked. Anyway, come Monday morning, I got to be in the bakehouse at 3:30. So I'm up at 2 o'clock. Still cooked, absolutely cooked. Didn't drink coffee or anything back then. I'm pumping down the green cordial, like trying to get going. Anyway, I wake mum up. She runs me to work. This is where old Dave comes into the picture. He's the original one-armed bandit, that fella.
The OG.
The original.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the back door. I ring the bell. There's a massive, big shopping complex. I'm sitting in the back door, ringing the bell. He comes out, pulls a ciggy out, and the smell of the ciggy, man, just turned me. I was like, all the memories from the other night come back. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna cook all fucking day. This is fucked. Anyway, get inside, and he gives me the flour cart. He goes, right, I go and load up 10 bags and bring it back in the bakehouse. Sweet, went out the back, chucked 10 bags on, come back in. Had no idea what I was doing. And I was just fucking fried, like, still crook, must have been white as a ghost. Probably an hour went by, I'm mixing dough, just doing loads into the big mixer, 120 kilo mixer. And he looks at me, Matty's just turned up, Matty Degnan. Anyway, we rocked back into the bakery, and the boys are sort of giggling and carrying on. I'm like, can't you want something? Fucking, it's going? I'm like, what do you mean?
Give me a king.
Have a coffee or something? Nah, come in here, come in here. Cunts have got fucking lines chopped up in the cool room. Banging lines into them. Fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. Oh, fuck, what's
Giving them a
this?
kickstart.
And I was like, what the fuck's this? And they're like, yeah, they chopped me out a little one. They're like, I was like, how do I do it, man? He said, just put the fucking... I had a little straw, a little metal straw. Matty used to take it everywhere with him. He's a fucking fiend. Anyway, he's like, fucking put the straw in one side of your nose, fucking close it up as much as you can and just give it to her. And I'm thinking, fuck, there's no pain or anything. I was thinking, fuck, just jam it into me. Fuck, fork jam it into me. Fuck, face on fire. I go, oh, fuck, what is this shit? And they're like, don't worry, mate, that'll get you going. Fucking 5 minutes, boys. I'm headless chook, flat around the bakehouse, fucking throwing trays around, pulling the cunts out. Clean that fucking bakery from head to toe. Jesus Christ. And I had to pull myself up. It was like, I was only fucking 14, and I'm going to work, and these cunts are banging lines in the cool room every morning. I'm like, holy fuck, if my dad knew this shit, he'd beat the fuck out of me. They're just fucking wild. That was, I worked in the bakery for 4.5 years, and then I went pro fishing after that. That was when I moved to Waluka.
Fair enough. Did you end up making your donuts at the other joint?
And I fucking hated it after about 6 months. I fucking hated it.
You were entranced by watching it though.
Oh man, that's what hooked me. Dead set. Fucking donut hopper. Just blum, 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 blum.
Is that the one with the dough and the punches it out into the oil?
Yeah.
And then
that's it.
you watch it drip up, yeah.
And then the fuck thing is, you make donuts, 4 or 5 hours, and your skin gets a quarter inch of fucking fat lathered on the cunt, man. Like, you
Oh.
gotta go and scrape it off. It's horrible.
No wonder they were pretty keen to get you over there.
Yeah,
Watching
exactly
how to
right.
talk.
You get the shit kicker in.
Yeah, we'll throw Bevo under the bus.
That's it.
So when you
So,
were a
yeah,
kid,
that was-
were you into like surfing or anything like that? What sort of?
Yeah, man, fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I got expelled from Bowden Primary because I fucking cracked a teacher in the jaw. He pushed me into a wall.
Righto.
And he fucked me up. So I was just like, fuck this, fucking stood up. So I said to Dad, this cunt's been picking on me. Mr. Chidgey was his name. And he's like, fuck. I said to Dad, this cunt's been picking on me. He's a wild wog cunt. He's just a fucking pork chop. Big nose cunt. And Dad's like, just fucking crack him in his big nose, son. Here's your shit. And I'm like, he's probably just joking. Anyway, I went back to school and he pushed me into the wall, stood up, and was like, fuck this, crack, smacked the cunt in the jaw. I was too short to hit him in the nose, I tried. Cracked him in the jaw, picked up the bin in the classroom, threw it through the window, jumped through the window and ran home. So I only lived like 2 k's around the corner.
Fucking hell.
Where was I? Well, anyway, so I got expelled from Bowden and I got enrolled in Sorty Primary, right, which is only a kilometre from the beach. And I'd done a bit of ledge fishing and shit before that with Dad, but that was when I really like got into it properly, everything to do with the ocean. That was when I started diving. Right, so we never surfed, never rode stand-ups, we just bodyboarded. But fucking all the time, man. If the surf was good, we were riding lids. If the surf was shit, we were fishing. And that was my life, like for fucking long time. Even when I started working in the baker, I'd knock off sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'd be straight down the beach. It was years before I had a licence, could drive myself around, so I'd get Mum pick me up from work, and I'd drive me pushy down the beach. That was me done. Yeah, surfing, bodyboarding, mad, fucking, yeah, lived for it. Fucking lived for it.
Do you remember your first serious fish as a kid?
I don't
One
remember
that made your old man just go, wow, this cunt he knows what he's doing.
I've had a couple of them. Like, the old man's told me stories of me catching fish when I was real young. Like, I don't remember, like, with my own eyes, I can't remember what happened, but I was just before I turned 3, fucking Pop bought me a Butterworth combo, 9-foot Butterworth combo. Loaded it with 15, and I was like, here, it can be a Taylor and Brimstick. Sweet. I don't remember it, but I still got it in Dad's shed to this day. Same original line on it, never been changed. Anyway, we went down the rock pool, apparently, and Dad just took the bucket of the Abbeys, and he set me up on the rock pool. He's like, yeah, son, get stuck into it. And there's a photo on Mum and Dad's wall of me with a 1.8 kilo brim. It was like 2 months before I turned 3 or something. Cranking up the stones on my own. His dad thought I was snagged, like looks over and my rod's bent. He's like, yeah, just fucking break it off. And he's like, next minute you're holding up this donkey brim cunt, nearly dropped me in the rock pool, because you're fishing the inside, like the waves bust over and everyone swims in the rock pool. And I'm fishing on the outside on the big flat rock. And he's like, you're fucking dangling it over the rock pool, and I'm yelling at you saying, run back across the bridge and get the fucking thing up on the sand before it gets away. Yeah, that was the first decent fish that I ever caught on my own. But my old man was all about, when he was younger, he used to chase Dewey's lot. Dewey's and Taylor. But now he's all about blackfish and whiting and brim fishing up in Iluka and shit. But he caught a few good Deweys. Anyway, I was probably, probably 11 or 12. And we went down Murray's Beach one night. It was me, Dad, and my 2 uncles, my mum's brothers. And they got it. They're not mad keen fishermen, they're just pissheads. So they'd sit there, get a big fire going and watch Dad fish. And I remember I was using my old man's tapper, which he never ever let me use. I couldn't cast it, so he cast it for me and I just held the rod. And the boys were up sitting around the fire on the grog. Dad's like, yeah, son, come and hold this. And it was just a light tailor stick. And you belt it out, pilly on a set of gangs. I'm sitting there, and I thump. He goes, that's a dew bite, son. It hits again, get stuck in it. It's going thump, crack. Fuck yeah, Dad, I got him. And back then they had to be 45 centimetres, right? And this thing was 44 centimetres. All I wanted to do was catch a legal Dewey. That was like, it was my life goal, right? And this cunt was a centimetre shy. I'm like, Dad, fuck. just cut some slits in him or something and stretch the cunt out so we can take him home and eat him. Dad's like, nah, sorry son, he's got to go back. Like, he was a full legit fisherman, the old man. All about looking after the future generations of fish. Like, he's real switched on in that way. And I just wanted to kill everything back then. I'm like, fuck, Dad, I'll let it go. He made me let it go, and I'm bawling my eyes out, man. I still remember it, bawling my eyes out the whole way back to the ute. I got home, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I called Nan. Dad just made me let go of my first decent Julie, bro. She's cracking up laughing. Dad's going, it wasn't fucking legal. Anyway, it was probably, I don't know, 6 months after that or something, I started fishing the beach by myself a fair bit, in that same stretch of beach, the same gutter. And it was when I got my first cast net, right? I taught myself how to throw it out in the backyard. I went down, I had my old man's gear, he taught me how to cast his tattler. And that was when we used to be able to jag mullet back then. His Dewey bag had a heap of jags in it, 12Rs and shit. And I went down, Dad's like, go and get some live mullet, son. You want to catch a big Dewey, go and get some live mullet, swim down off the beach and you get one. Rightio. Went down, cast netted some mullet, put them in my bucket, walked down the beach, left me bike up on the sand, it was always too soft and right for him, Murray. Fucking lugged this bucket down the beach, 3 dirty big mullet in it. First bait. As soon as it hit the water, thump, crack, ran about 100 yards off me and pulled the hooks. Like, what the fuck was that? I thought it was a shark in my head. Like, I didn't know nothing back then. Next bait, bang, smoked off out the exact same direction, right? Straight to sea, out through the gutter. Turned it, got it back to the beach, and I had a 10-foot man fucking in front of me, and I popped the line, trying to drag the cunt up the sand. Didn't know how to wash fish up. I'm just trying to drag it up, pop the line. I'm like, that's it, had me chance, that's the biggest Dewey I've ever seen with my own eyes. I fucking blown it. I was like, Dad will never believe me. Like, dirty as fuck, man. Walked back up in my bucket, my bag, had 1 mullet left. Fuck, give it one more crack. Hook this mullet up. Belt the cunt out, same thing. No sooner it hits the water, bang, away it goes. I get this Dewey back to the same spot, and I'm like, don't fucking rush it. Wait till he's laying dry on the sand, run down and grab the cunt. Righto, I got this shit, washed him up, the waves are going back, he's sitting high and dry on the sand, fucking dropped the rod, legged it down, grabbed the cunt up under the gills, and he kicks and slices me fucking palm straight over. Like, I'm talking an inch wide, right? Zero fucks given. Dragged this cunt up the beach, and this is way before mobile phones, boys. Right? So I used to have half an hour after dark, and I'd have to meet my old man in the corner of the Murray's car park, chuck the bike on the back, fishing gear on the back of the ute, and then he'd drive me home. So I'm sitting there, I had no bait left. The fish is 12 kilo, which isn't that big, but it's fucking cracker for the young fella back then. I'm sitting there with this fish, waiting for fucking half an hour after dark, walk back up to the ute. The old man's seen it like a glint of silver as I'm coming through the track. He second-guessed himself. He's like, is this cat got a fucking fish or not? Seen me come around the corner, got out, he's like, holy fuck, did you catch that? I was like, yeah, got him on live mullet, Dad. Told him what happened, and he's like, fuck off, you stole that off Rick Jones or something, didn't you, cunt? I was like, no, I fucking caught it myself. I'm telling you, I caught it myself. He's going, fuck off. One of the boys was down there, and he got half a dozen to give you one, didn't he? I was like, no, cunt. I was by myself, told him fucking, and he knew I was telling the truth. Like,
just shit staring.
Yeah. And he goes, fuck off, cunt. You walked all the way along the beach into the co-op and you bought the cunt, didn't you? Eh? And brought it up. And I've taken him seriously, like full on seriously. Like, Dad, fuck off, cunt. I earned this fucker on my own. I should have had fucking 3 of them. He's like, well, it's not bad, son. 1 out of 3. Well done. Fuck yeah, it's fucking good shit. That was the first big fish moment, or what I thought was a big fish. After that I started busting 20s and 25s all the time, and them little fellas, or they look like little fellas. But that was it still sticks out in my brain, man. So fucking, the look on his face when I come around the corner, he's like, fuck, has this cunt got a fucking fish? I'm holding up, dropped all my gear, holding up, Dad, fuck, and I'm going, it's 20 kilos, 20 kilos. He goes, fuck, son, it's about 10. I'm like, have a look at the fucking size of the cunt. I was fucking stoked, man. That's I think, I've caught plenty of good fish to fill in the gaps, but that sticks out. in my brain.
Yeah, the first serious fish. You've told me, well, you can tell everyone else the
What about
salmon, the salmon story. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
fuck,
a good
which
one.
one?
The first time you've ever seen them.
Oh, Jesus
when
Christ.
you thought they were kingfish.
Kings, yeah, Dad thought they were kings. Fuck me dead. So there was 2 times, actually. So the first time we caught them off the ledge, the surf was shit. We'd surfed the morning before, and the surf went to shit. Started blowing fucking southeast at 30 knots, and just blew it out. I said, and it was the start of winter, right? And I said to Jono, let's go and spin Taylor in the morning, cunt. I was like, yeah, fucking sweet. Let's go. Met him at his place 4:30. Had our spin gear. We used to make our own tail lures back then. Just cut spoons up, put trebles in the cunts. Anyway, we rocked out the front of Southie, blowing us tits off. It hardly cast. I was using that fucking same old Butterworth, right? That same old combo. That was my spin rod. Anyway, we rocked out there, and we can see these things chasing our fucking lures, and we didn't have a fucking clue. At all. We thought it was a school of bull mullet at first, and Jono hooks up and can't come flying out of the water. We got probably 6 to the rocks, but couldn't get one onto the rocks, right, to fucking get the cunt up and go on net and take it home. So at that point we're thinking, fuck, are these big mullet, these fucking, metal slices or what's going on? So the next afternoon, we went to school, we tried to surf that afternoon, was shit, but the next afternoon, we're out at our drummer spot out the front of Trappy's, water towers, slaying the drummer on cooked prawns. And Jono, I was using this fucking homemade stick my old man made. It was his rib rod. It was probably 10 foot long, old yellow fiberglass thing, and it had an original Abu Garcia on it. Same thing. We only used to run like 15 or 20 at the heaviest. Anyway, Jono's point, I'm sitting there pumping the drummer. Jono's pointed past me head into the mouth of the creek. He goes, look, there's fucking tuna in the river. Like, tie a slug on and let's fucking go. And I'm like, yep, we're on, cunt. I'm talking 3 foot of water boys in the fucking river mouth. And we're going, yep, they're fucking tuna, cunt. Because we were just getting into chasing longtail and shit as well. And it was that time of year. So we're legged it 200 metres over the river mouth through the wildest fucking volcanic rock country you ever seen. Get over, there's this little beach, the mouth of the creek, on the headland side. And the other side's Bohemian Beach, a big fucking 10k stretch, runs down to Gallows. Anyway, we get there, and this cunt's casting while he's still 20 metres up the rocks. As soon as his lure hits the water, boom, he's on. Gets to his feet, busts his lure off. And he's like, cunt, they're fucking kingies! They're fucking kingies! Oh, fuck, I'm panicking, right? Cast me lure, fucking bang, hook up. Get the cunt back to the rocks, he grabs it by the tail, throws it up the rocks, and I look at it, I'm like, holy fuck, yeah, I caught me first king, cunt! This is fucking sick! Fuck, get in on Jono, give him your rod. Like, I took the cunt up, as Dad always said, if you're going to eat it, break his neck, right, get the parrot out of it. So I'm stoked, Jono's cast, he's hooked up, I'm fucking up there beating this cunt on the head with a rock, threw him up on the rocks, and I'm like, and I smelled it, like I smelt the fucking salmon stink, and I was like, I don't remember anyone saying anything about fucking stinking kingfish. Anyway, Jono's hooked up, got that cunt up the rocks, and we blasted like half a dozen of the cunts. We chucked them in the bags. It was dark, walked back up the top of Trappies, and old man's seen tails hanging out the back of the backpacks. He's like, fuck yeah, the boys have got a couple of good kingies here. Oh, actually, he said at first, he thought they were giant tailor. And he fucking, we pulled him out of the bag, and he's like, fuck yeah, they're not bad kingies, boys. We get home, the cunt would have been half pissed, because we only live like 5k's away from where he picked us up, so he'd sink 10 beers, come pick us up and drive home, that cunt. We get home, we chuck him out on the filleting table, because like back then he'd cut all their fish up. There's straight, excuse me, Jack there. Anyway, chucked him out the fillet table, he's turned the light on, grabbed a beer out of the fridge, comes out, and looks at him. He goes, I've seen a few kingies, boys, but I don't think they're kingfish. Calls Pop. He's like, he calls his dad. He's like, Dad, come out and have one of these. The young fella's just brought home a bag of fish. He's like, I don't really know what they are. So Pop's rocked up. He's like, yeah, they're kingies. Fuck, good kingies, boys. Good shit, they're good kingies. The Dad's like, yeah, smell them. And they're like, they got no yellow on them. They got fuck all green on them. Like, what are these things? And it was, I think old Wayne, because he ran the fishing comps, and it was Dad's fucking shower screen maker. He made all the shower screens for Pilkington Glass. And Dad was telling Wayno about it. Wayno come round, he goes, Jeff, bro, they're fucking salmon. And Dad's like, what are you talking about, fucking salmon? And I've never seen them in my life. And that was the first year that they'd pushed up from Newcastle after they shut down the cannery. Because they had a 200 million tonne, boys, wrap your head around that. 200 million tonne a year the cunts used to net. They put through the cat food cannery, dog food cannery. Yep, and fertiliser as well. They got made into fertiliser.
200 million.
200 million tonne, brother.
You think an average size, what would it be? 6, 7, 800 gram?
Oh, when they're netting them there, they're about 5 pound, 6 pound, 2.5 kilo, 3 kilo. The biggest one we caught up here was a tickle under 8 kilo. The further north they swim, the bigger they get. The current becomes warmer, it's got more tucker in it. They're down south, like the 40 centimetre fish is fucking pretty common, like, or a good one. But yeah, up here they get
Monstrous.
massive. Oh, massive, huge, big head. So that was the first year that they turned up. None of the crew had a fucking clue what they were, where they come from. And Wayno filled the old man in. He's like, mate, they come from down south, Newcastle, or they shut the cannery down, this, that, and the other. And then the
Where
next
does it come from?
5 years, next 5 years after that, we couldn't catch Taylor. They were that fucking thick, couldn't catch Dewies. I'd belt out 30 centimetre live mullet and fucking crank in 2-3 kilo salmon. Like, it was just, they got that bad that they were almost going to open up and close rivers to commercial net just to sell
Holy
to
shit.
China or Japan. Bro, you'd go down the mouth and fuck it, we used to go and chase blackfish down the mouth of Urunga River. You drive across a big sandbar to get in the mouth, and the bottom was like a carpet of salmon, and they'd just stay in there all day, laying on the bottom, just fucking sleeping. They ate all the whiting, like the population of whiting off the sand flats in the front of the river, wiped the cunts out. They were finding salmon with fucking flathead, like dead salmon on the beach, with flathead in their mouth, choking on the cunts, man. That's how bad they were. And then they ended up having to open the cannery back up, because it was fucking the fishery. It wasn't... It's all the predators. See, back then, shark fishing was a massive thing, and that's the only thing that ate salmon. It was fucking sharks.
Yeah.
So the shark population wasn't there to knock them on the head, because all the pro fishers are killing the sharks, and
For the
it was
flake.
just the pro fishers that were netting the salmon that were keeping the numbers down. So it just boomed. It was this massive problem for like 5, 6, 7 years, But we started eating them after a while. Like the old man, he fucking tried to make fish cake. That was after we found out what they were. He's like, fuck yeah, I can fish cake these cunts. He slabbed them up, cut the ribs out of them, skinned them, sweet, minced them. I don't know what he put in them, but they just look like a normal fish cake. He started frying the cunts up. One mouthful, I was like, nah, I'm not having a crack at that. And we had this, she was like a ginger cattle dog, ginger and white, fucking border collie cross red kelpie. And she wouldn't even eat the cunts. Dad's like, son, don't ever fucking bring those cunts home again. They fucking stink. The carcasses take up too much room in the freezer. We can't eat them. Just fucking let them go. We started selling them for trap bait. The snapper trappers in town. But we learned how to smoke them. As soon as we learned how to smoke them, man, they're fucking beautiful.
Smoked salmon is good, yeah.
So yeah, that's my first salmon story.
Very exciting. What's your favourite way to cook most of your fish? You love your smoking, yeah?
It depends what kind of fish they are, bro. See, pelagics, I like to smoke. They got a lot of oil in them, a lot of fat, like mackerel, kingfish. Anything that swims and eats liveys is good to smoke. But I think a lot of cunts ridicule me, but I think my favourite feed of fish is a fresh feed of blackfish, filleted, skinned, ribs knocked out of them, just in home brand crumbs, man. You get the home brand crumbs from Woolies, breadcrumb them up, fry them up, handful of chips, fucking can't beat it. It's just because I was born and bred on it. We used to eat blackfish 4 or 5 nights a week. Just fucking, I love it. Fucking love it.
The blackfish are the ones you can only get with like a bit of weed. Yeah.
Yeah. I started throwing flies at them when I was probably 14 or 15. That was the majority of my blackfishing was on fly. Fucking great fun.
I've seen them down the piers and that, looking at the fish going, yeah. You try and dangle a bit of squid in front of them, no, wouldn't even look at it.
They'll only eat protein for 2 months of the year, and all they'll eat is if you can get mac tuna, right, skin mac tuna and cut it into little squares. They just want the protein and iron 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months before they spawn. Or you can go into the river, like same pre-spawn, and pump a bucket of yabbies and just go and find a hole in a weed bed. It only needs to be 2 foot round and cast your yabby straight into that hole. You just get the cunts one after the other. But yeah, the rest of the year they're just strictly fucking weed eaters.
Yeah, fair enough. What's your second salmon story?
That was it. That was the second one. The first time was when we seen them off Southies, and then when we not that afternoon, it was the next afternoon. We pedalled down after school and caught them in the mouth of the river.
Okay. When you were a young fella, you did a bit of camping. Did you usually do it, by the beach, or did you go inland? Where did you used to go?
So, where I grew up, we lived about 100 metres away from the national park, and they used to call it, I think it was the RSA lines or something. It was SRA lines, State Rail Authority. So there was the main train track that runs from Sydney to Coffs or Sydney to Brisbane, runs through this national park, and there's a bridge across the river. And we used to be able to ride our pushies down this fire trail, like 2.5, 3 k's, down to this bridge. And there was a track that went past it for about another 3 k's, and like my mate bought this tricycle. So we used to load all our camp and shit in the back of it, pedal this fucking thing for half a day to get down to the spot, set up our tent, and away we go. That was it. Like 90% of our camping when I was young was done in that bush. And then I would have been 14 or 15, and it was the first night that we'd ever had girls come camping with us. And we were trying to show off and be heroes, rah. There's about 20 of us boys there, and one of the boys thought it was a great idea to throw a deodorant can in the fire. So he throws a deodorant can in the fire, and I'm talking the thickest national park you've ever seen, boys, and dry as a nut. Oh, boom! There goes all the tents and everything, holes through them. The paddock's on fire, right? Running back into the national park, and I was like, "Flicky, we're fucked. Right, let's just get the fuck out of here and call the fireys when we get home." By the time we get halfway, like I'm talking 10 acres, boys, in 5 minutes, just whoa. She's gone, wind pumping. I'm like, "Holy fuck, we're dead. We're going to jail. That's it. Life's over." We get halfway up the track. Here comes the fireys, belt past us. Right, there's 20 of us on pushies. And here comes the fire, he's belt.
He pulled his mic.
He did.
So here comes the fire, he's belt past us. So one of the fireys is pulled up. "Boys, fuck, get out of here. That fire's blaring around." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, we just seen 3 black fellas light the cunt up on the other side of the track." We're like, "Yeah." And Flicky, man, he can spin a yarn, this fella, dead set. He's like, "Yeah, man, there was 3 of them big black cunts lit up the other side of the creek, and it kind of jumped across." Because at that point, the creek's only 20 foot wide, and she's blaring both sides of it. Like, "No worries, boys, good on you, just get out of here, you're safe." And the fucking fire trucks coming past us one after the other. We get home, my old man's standing, or not get home, get to the front gate, right, in the national park. My old man's sitting there in the work queue. He goes, "I fucking knew it was you little cunt. Get in the car." Because he can see the smoke, right, from the house, Mum and Dad's house. So he throws me push bike on the back, throws Flicky's push bike on the back. He goes, "Riley, you're not welcome at my house for the next 6 months." Walked inside, took him into his mum. He goes, "You sit in the car, son." Grabbed his push bike, threw it in the driveway. And then I got the blame for bending his frame because my old man pegged his push bike in the driveway. Anyway, went in, said to Sue, "You're not welcome at my house for 6 months." I was grounded. Not allowed to fish, not allowed to surf. I was allowed to ride my push bike 20 metres each side of the house. And he's like, after I grew up a bit, I thought about it, and he goes, "You know why I was so hard on you?" He goes, "I don't give a fuck you lit the bush up." He goes, "You should have thought what was around you, dickhead." He goes, "It was burnt like they stopped at 50 metres away from 5,000 houses, boys, around the estate, right?" And he's like, "I don't give a fuck you lit a fire. You just about killed half the population of Sawtell. Like, just use your brain, man." And I wasn't allowed to camp for years after that. That was there. I thought I was going to jail. We're riding our pushies out this track, and then here comes. I heard the sirens before I could see the trucks, and my heart just sank. I looked at Flick, and I'm like, "That's it, fuck. I know it's us." And then, there's 3 big black cunts, boys, on the other side of the river. You see them take off, and we're out of there. Flames 20 foot high, and the old man's waiting at the fucking gate for us.
He knew it.
I knew it was you, cunt. Get in the ute. Oh, my life's over.
What's your favourite camping spot?
My favourite camping spot. So, growing up, we had this spot called the Duo. Right, and I never caught a jewfish. I've seen a jewfish now in my life. It's in the river. It's just the deepest hole in the river. So the old school fishers called it the Duo. And we used to be able to drive down through the football field and park on the Duo. And we crab there, chase mangrove jacks, bream, flathead, whiting, trevally. And when I first got the balls to ride that far, it's about 10 k's from mum and dad's, 12 k's from mum and dad's. When I first got the balls to ride that far, because I was playing footy and we'd have training Tuesday and Thursday afternoons after school, and after primary school. So we go down. I knew it inside out. I knew how to get there, knew how to get home. And I said, one day, Dad's like, "Yeah, mate, you can go." I was like, "Flicky, let's go, cunt." So we rode down and we slept in, two of us slept in one shitty cotton blanket. The most bug bites I've ever had in my life.
Oh.
Absolutely horrible. We had a ball, man. Had a ball. After that, whenever the weather was shit, because one of the boys ended up building a hut down there.
Oh, yeah.
The footy club. Whenever the weather was shit, we go and sit in the hut, listen to the rain hitting the tin roof, and belt big liveys out of the Duo. And I still, man, I can picture the sun's coming up over the hill and lighting up the creek, and it's the most magic 500 metres of river that you could ever dream of. Like, it's fucking pristine, man. I spend a shitload of time there. That's probably, I reckon, my favourite camping spot. Anywhere in Australia, I'd take that spot over anywhere.
I love the sound of rain on the roofs.
Oh, dude, we
tin roof.
love it.
Best.
Love it. We got to the point, we thought we were like doomsday preppers. So we like stashed packed 2-minute noodles in there and shit. Set up our own little like water drum, and we tried to put a tarp on the roof and put an epoxy little piece of fish tank tube, duct tape it all up to this tarp so we had fresh water every time we went there. Man, we fucking love it. Just harmless back then.
It's always good.
So, what age did you start shooting, dude?
Probably 10. I'd say 9 or 10. Yep, I was allowed to, actually, I'll tell you about the first time I was allowed to take my grandfather's 22 on my own.
No, I haven't heard that one.
No.
Right up, just pouring up a rum boat. Get stuck into it. I suppose you can still hear me out here, can't you?
Yep.
Yeah, righto, so my family grew up in Dorrigo, born and bred in Dorrigo. Apart from my nan's side, she was Maxwell. Grew up with black fellas. I think that's why she's so racist. Anyway, we grew up, all the family grew up in Dorrigo. So shooting rabbits, we fished and shot rabbits to eat. Right? So, like growing up, I was always allowed to watch and gut rabbits and shit, but I was never allowed to pull the trigger on the rifle. And then after a while, Pop started going, "Here, son, come here and have a shot." And Pete's like sit over my shoulder, sight me in, and go, "Yeah, pull the trigger." But it was probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 months of that or something. Year of that. And one day, we're up at E-Ball, and my uncle and my dad had hit the piss fucking hard the night before. Right, so me and Pop are up out before dark, and he's feeling a bit crook. He just started running the sawmill. They just started up, so he's working fucking 7 days a week, 15-hour days. So that couple of days I come up shooting, he's fucked. And he looks at me, he goes, "Right, son, you reckon you're right to take the rifle and bring back a couple of rabbits?" "Yeah, Pop, yeah, I got this fucking sorted. Yep, no worries." He goes, "Right, go and grab the gun." Pulled it out of the fucking case, went down. He's like, "Right, here's 6 bullets." He goes, "I want you to bring me back 1 rabbit." "Righto, Pop, no worries, I got this shit. Put me, and back then, Dad used to make me wear like me shirt had a front pocket in it, so I could put my pocket knife in the cunt. I was a gut boy, gut and skinner boy.
Yep.
So I put my fucking bullets in my pocket, my top pocket. Alright, let's fucking do this shit. Start walking down the ridge. Get down into Dorrigo, like the main big basin. Probably, I don't know, a cane half from camp or something. And I walk down this ridge and I'm like, fuck, there's a heap of warrens there. Oh, there's a couple of rabbits on. Sweet, I'll get one of these cunts. Sitting there, fucking, it was only a single shot. Fucking load around in it. Wait for a rabbit to pop up. And boom, hit him in the head. So, fuck yeah, I got this shit. This is awesome. I could put another round in the chamber. Another one popped his head up. Oh, boom, hit him in the head. I was like, holy shit, this is what I want to do for a living. Like, it was the first time I'd ever thought to myself, holy shit, this is what I want to do with my life. Right? So I got bang, bang, flatten these two cunts, and then I couldn't hit shit. 4 more shots, fuck, couldn't get anywhere near them. Walk back to camp, these 2 rabbits on a stick, fucking, skin and gutted. I get back, Dad walks outside, just waking up. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, cunt? Why you got that gun? Why you got rabbits? Like, where's your grandfather? Pop comes walking out, sitting in front of the fire. Pop comes walking, he goes, shut the fuck up, Jeffro. Yeah, he's old enough, man. For fuck's sake, grow some balls. And Dad just looked at Pop, looked at me, turned around, walked back inside. Pop goes, come in here, son. Right, thanks, Pop, that was awesome. He goes, right, here's a box of 50 rounds. Go and shoot as many of the cunts as you can. Fucking righto, let's go, boys. Went to fucking town, boys. I had too many of the cunts to carry, but I had a 10-foot stick with about 30 fucking rabbits on the cunt, and I just couldn't carry it. I couldn't do nothing.
Too heavy.
So, I left the gun there, right? I left the gun next to the rabbits, walked back to camp, got the boys, said, I can't carry this. You think I could find those rabbits and that fucking rifle? Not a chance, cunt, right? Not a fucking chance. Dad's lit light pop up going, see you stupid old cunt, this is why he's too fucking young, rah. Walk over a hill, there, sitting there, Laura. Perfect.
You found him, nice.
That's exactly where I remember the cunt being. I was like, see, I told you boys, it just took me a little while to find him. And Pop was giving it to the old boy, eh? Giving it to him, man. Fucking light him up. Harden the fuck up and let him shoot. And that was the first time I was ever allowed. And then after that, I remember we come back down. Mum and Dad were living in Tormy, and Nana Pop lived in Coffs, and we had this shitty little canoe. Like, it was only fucking 8 foot long. I was pretty big kid. It would only just float me, right? And we were back then. We weren't. That was when it got shut down. We weren't allowed to shoot in the rivers anything. And Pop didn't give 2 fucks. He's old school. So he chucked the canoe on the roof, get the 22, drop me into a sneaky part of the back trek, and go and shoot as many fucking ducks as you can, son. So it wasn't long after he gave me the green light hunting Ebor and Dorrigo with the rifle that he started putting me in the canoe. And one afternoon, there was a heap of black right up in the fucking wallow, like massive big chewed out fucking eddy. And he goes, get in there and shoot as many as you fucking can, as quick as you can, and we'll get out of here. Right, oh fuck yeah, jumped in and I pop, I think I got 4 or 5, fucking out of a dozen, 15. Took them back, like, picking them up, wringing their neck, chucking them in front of the canoe, fucking paddled back, we plucked the gut of the cunts, took them back, and the old man's just turning up, knocking off work, and Pop's unloading his canoe to put back under the house. He's got the gun in the tray, in the case, and dead ducks, like clean ducks in the back of the ute.
Yep.
And I was like, where the fuck are you two? And Pop's, because Pop didn't tell me to keep my mouth shut, so I'm like, oh, we're down the back of fucking waters. And Pop's put me in the canoe and just let me go fucking ham on these canoes. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're shooting towards fucking houses. What are you doing? It's like the middle of fucking suburbia. Oh, man, and just about, I've seen them 2 cunts just about fucking box on 100 times. They never ever come to blows. Fuck. Like, if you got caught doing that shit now, you'd do fucking 10 years.
And the rest.
Oh, it's fucking the shit we used to get away with, man. That's it.
Never to have a license again kind of shit.
Oh, fuck no.
What about,
No shit these days.
you used to hunt a bit of pigs and things like that as well?
Yeah, so it was high school. I was doing bacon apprenticeship, and going to school at the same time. And Jono just got his licence, so I would have been 15. He had 2 years on me, and he got his P's when he was 17. He's on his birthday. Anyway, we heard these rumours of these pigs up in Station Creek, and I knew nothing about chasing pigs. Like, I shot a couple with Pop and my great-grandfather with the old 30-06, but never knew much about actually chasing the cunts. Anyway, Jono's got this fucking little runty, like a blue heeler cross something else. It's just the smallest fucking, most placid dog you ever seen. He's like, cunt, I'm turning her into a pig dog. Oh, fuck, righto, cunt, let's go and give this shit a crack. He got his licence, no guns, no nothing. Dog on the back, couple of big knives. We rocked up into Station Creek. It's all national park, you're not allowed to hunt the cunt. We're fucking rocking through there, and his dog, a pig come across the road, and there's big old storm drains, like irrigation drains that run out of the paddock in this massive storm drain. And we seen a heap rooting away, and this cunt come across the track, and Liz, that was the dog's name, Liz, because his missus' name was Lib, and I'd always call his Libby, and always call his fucking missus his dog's name, and she'd get pissed, she'd fucking hate it. It was an accident, I didn't mean to. Anyway, fucking Liz has gone off the back of the ute, bailed this cunt up about 50 metres into the bush. I'm like, Jono, what the fuck do we do? Like, what? I don't know how to kill this cunt. I'm like, what do we do, man? He's just diving on top of it, trying to bowl it. Like, this cunt's 50 kilo ring and wet. He's fucking nothing. Trying to bowl this cunt over and grab its legs, and he's fucking poked 30 holes in it before he's got it to stop moving. We thought we were the kings. The fucking kings. Loaded the cunt into the back of this old Rocky, claret, fucking everywhere. Drove back to my Pop's house. Pop, have a crack at this big cunt we just caught up Station Creek. It's like, where in Station Creek? Like, down the big storm drains. He goes, you fucking idiots, it's all national park now. You get caught in there, they'll take your dogs, take your utes, take everything you got. So we never went back until I was about 17 or 18. Alright, a couple of years later. And in that time, in high school, I was doing marine studies. And I met Brett Burko, tagging mutton birds on Mutton Bird Island, doing volunteer work 2 days a week, and he was head of the fisheries. So we rocked in, and he told me about these big pigs up in Station Creek, and that he goes in there bow hunting them as shit, and I was like, fuck it, he must be full of shit, he's not allowed in there. Anyway, me and Troy Boy and Jono, we've been fishing, chasing dewies all morning up Station Creek. We're coming back, and we had the dogs on the back. Troy Boy had his bow, he's mad keen bow hunting this cunt. He's going, we'll walk over the back of these dunes. He's seen a big pig on the beach. Like, I'm talking fucking 115, 120 kilo big. And he's seen it walk up the beach over the dunes. So he's going, fuck yeah, walk up and see if we can put a shot in this cunt. Oh, sweet. Left the dogs on the ute. Walked up over the back of the dune. And I'm behind him. He's full fucking draw, ready to let fly. And here comes this arrow from the other direction, out of the bush, and plugs his pig. Pig runs 20 and falls over. I'm like, what the fuck? Looking at him going, cunt, what's going on here? Here comes Burko, all camoed up, walking out of the bush. Looking at us going, cunts, you didn't see me, I didn't see you. What the fuck, dude? He's head of the fisheries, New South Wales, and he's in here poached. Good boys, like, just let it go, dude. He'll fucking catch us one day, and he'll let us go. Fucking swear. And he was the first cunt to catch us with dodgy crays. He goes, cunts, I'll catch us again, and I'll fucking pin you. We had like 150 crays under the fucking floor of the park. He's like, cunts, I'll catch us again, and I'll fucking pin you. I've never seen you. I've never seen what was under the floor. Fuck off. Went back to Troy Boys, boxed them up, and got them straight to Sydney straight away. But even when I got done and put on fucking Coastal Watch, he still tried to pull my ass out of shit. He's just an absolute gem of a bloke. But that was my first couple of, like myself, or me and the boys chasing pigs. It's old Station Creek.
Sounded like fun, man. Now, the stories that I want to hear again, and everyone wants to hear, the fan favourite, the fucking Yowie stories, mate. These Yowie stories are the best.
Right, here we go.
So, take your time. Yeah, from Pop's experience to your own.
So, I'll start with my great-grandfather's and my grandfather's experiences, and I'll go on to my own, right? So, like I said, family born and bred in Dorrigo. And my great-grandfather, the hardest old prick you'd ever met. You know, he was a grumpy old cunt. He used to swing on his gate, and he flogged me with his cane. And Dad'd come around the corner, like ready to pump him, And you go, harden up, he needs to be flogged, can't swing on the gate. He's just hard old prick, right? Anyway, I had this old 30-06, and he used to go shoot some wild dogs and shit, and they were just clearing out the paddocks to make the sawmill, right, to build the sawmill and start working. So they're working massive long days, right? They fucking cleared out probably a 50-acre section. They come in to do some more work, worked all day, and Pop said that he just felt like I was only just born then, right? This is the very first experience that I ever heard of. I was only just born. So, and great grandpop had this 3006, and the cunt had to sit behind he had an old Hilux, right? Like the OG Hilux, 80s man, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, the good
And,
ones.
yeah, fuck yeah, old 2.4 it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't kill the cunt, take it everywhere. But this 3006 sat behind that seat, anywhere he go. He'd go to the pub, and the fucking leave the ute unlocked with 3006 with the chamber, round in the chamber, ready to roll behind the seat. Like, it just was like an extension of his body. The cunt never left. Anyway, the boys have been clearing all day. They packed up, they're driving back out of the field, and you can see for a fair way, and Pop's going, "Oi, Grandpa," or it's his dad. He's going, "Oi, Dad, have a look at that." A couple of wild dogs come through the paddock, and there was a mob of dogs got flushed out of the trees, ran through the paddock, and Pop said this thing come fucking flying out of the bush, 8 foot high, on all fours, like 10-foot leaps, and in 10-foot strides across this paddock. Grandpops grabbed the 3006 out of the back of the ute and started blasting fucking bop across the paddock. Couldn't hit it. And they both looking at each other going, did we just fucking see what we just saw? And they sort of just, Pop said they sort of just pushed it aside, right? And like it was in the back of their head, but they didn't get a good close look at it. Like it was a couple hundred yards away.
To make a good assessment.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, they sort of pushed it aside. So 4 or 5 years go by, and there'd been all kind of sightings around Dorrigo, down at the falls, fucking everywhere, man. So it was a local myth that these yowies existed in the area. So a few years go by, and they started building a sawmill, and then shit started disappearing, was getting moved, right? And these cunts didn't smoke, didn't drink, like fucking, they're the only ones in my family that were straight 180. And they switched on, and shit started getting moved, disappearing, fucking gates getting left open and shit. Fences fucked up with fur on them that they like just shouldn't be like how it was. Anyway, the same thing. They knocked off. They were building a sawmill. They knocked off. They were driving back out of the paddock, and instead of the thing bouncing through the bottom of the paddock, it come through on the ridge line from it's one national park into another net. It's two national parks side by side. So it's ran the 500 or 600 yards out in the open, and as soon as Grandpop seen it before Pop, he's pulled 3006 out again. Started laying into the cunt, like fucking up it, man. Got a good 2 or 3 rounds into the cunt and disappeared. They like tried to track it, fucking tried to do all that shit. No bueno. And I got told these stories growing up, and I didn't know whether to believe them or not. I was like, they're not the boys. Grandpa, I don't think he told a lie in his life, and neither did Pop. They're just straight up and down. Anyway, I got told these stories growing up, and I started doing a bit of hunting on that property. It's only Kathleen's property now. So I would have been probably 10 or 11, and me and Pop were up there hunting rabbits. And we pulled into the front gate, and Pop goes, "Oh, grab the gun, we'll chuck it in the cab." So I walked out, grabbed the gun out of the cab, looked up, and I was like, "Nah, I'm fucking seeing shit. Like, nothing can be that big and dark where it was." It's like, nah, fuck, didn't worry about it. Jump back in the ute, Pop goes, "Fuckers, look at that cunt!" That was one of the first times I've ever heard him say cunt. Right, proper call me cunt. He goes, "Fuckers, look at that cunt!" Gets it out of the ute, and we only got the fucking rabbit rifle, 22. He's 10 shot, and he's going, fuck, popping fucking 22 rounds at the cunt, and just legging it across the paddock. He got back in the ute, and the first thing he said is, "Do you believe me now?" I was like, "No, this is a fucking wild dog or something." Fuck off, bullshit.
So,
I didn't really
what did it look like though? You didn't say it, eh?
Nah, like it's like, it happened that quick, man, that by the time I looked up, it looked like a bear. It's a big black mass straight in the bush. Anyway, I told Dad about it, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever, cunt. I've never fucking seen him. I've heard the stories from Pop and Grandpa." So a couple more years go by, and a couple of my mates were working at Ebor, right out the back, or 20 k's from the pub, just out the back on the plains, doing fencing for the big contracting group down there. Anyway, this is on YouTube as well, this story, on Yowie Hunter. So the boys pull in, they've just finished up for the day, they've gone down for a swim, right? Had a swim at the waterfall, and their clothes went missing. So they walked back in their boxes, got in the ute, pulled in through the front gate, and all the houses are built up on ridges, right? So when you're driving in the driveways, you can see 10 k's each side into the valleys, but there's open paddocks for probably 500-600 metres each side of the driveway. So the boys have pulled into the driveway, start driving up the driveway, and a yowie comes bouncing straight out of the bush, straight up over the driveway and back into the bush on the other side. And they all, like, there's half a dozen of them, they all looked at each other, like, did we just see what we seen? And did we lose our clothes this afternoon? And the next afternoon, same thing happened. And one of them tried to film it, and you can hear the sound of their voices, boys. Like, them cunts were fucking petrified. I'm talking petrified. And they're like, fuck this, pack the shit up out of the cabin, we're fucking going home a couple of days early, fuck, like freaking right out. It's on Yowie Hunters, man, fucking Australian Yowie Hunters. Crazy shit. Anyway, I knew them cunts, and that sort of backed up in my mind, right, fuck it, you know, they're there. I've seen what I'm saying. The fucking boys have seen what they're saying. The cunts are there. Anyway, after that, it wasn't until I moved to Glen Innes, right, and I started shooting deer. So I had Yowie fever, boys. Local cunt in town, Peter Ritter. He's a full-on Yowie researcher, right, and he's a legit cunt too. So he goes out to Torrington and all these national parks, and he's found hair and got it fucking DNA tested, and it comes back as unknown primate, all that kind of shit. He got his own channel on YouTube too. Lots of pretty cool footage. And so I got right into it, like started picking his brains and shit. So I've got Yowie fever, and we were up the top of Pindari in the boat one afternoon. I seen this fucking big fellow come walking down, and a big red deer like 200 metres behind me. I said to Adzi, fuck this, I'm going to come out tomorrow and walk this shit and see if I can fucking pop one of these cunts, because they were rutting, and the cunts, they're real territorial, so they stay pretty close. They won't wander too far out of that area. Fucking come back out the next day. So I grabbed the 300, walking down this fucking, like, middle of nowhere, man, in this massive big gully. Big fucking, like the Severn River that runs into Pindari. And I'm working your way up from the dam, fucking walking up through this massive big ravine. I can see the river. I was like, fuck, I'll just sit down and I'll have a smoke. As soon as I sat down, I just heard this fucking noise, like, honk, honk, honk. What the fuck? That's straight up a Yowie. I'm sitting there, and I'm like probably 40 metres away from the river, and I hear this noise again, and then I hear bipedal footprints. I shit myself. Chambered around. I used to take this old belt, because I'm pretty shaky, so I take an old leather belt and fucking strap my muzzle around a tree to get a fucking steady shot. I fucking chambered around. I'm shaking that bad. I can hear me bolt going ting 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 as I'm trying to fucking chamber the round. I was like, holy fuck, I'm about to pop this cunt in the head, put me strap round the barrel, fucking arced up at the cunt. I'm like, I can still hear these bipedal footprints. I'm like, come on, cunt, pop your fucking head round that corner and I'll blow it clean off. Come on, please, please. And it felt like an eternity. It would have been 30 seconds. It felt like a fucking eternity. I'm shaking and carrying on, trying to breathe deep. I'm like, come on, cunt, get your shit together. Get your shit together, get your shit together. And the noise stops. I'm like, he's fucking right there, cunt. Come on, pop your fucking head out. Gonk, gonk, gonk. Couple of big fucking emus come scratching up the river. Like giant chickens, man. Fucking scratching at the bank and picking at the bank like giant chickens. Oh, what the fuck? I didn't even know there was emus there at all. Like, never heard them in the wild, nothing. And I'm sitting there watching them, and I'm chilled out by this point. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm not going to get raped by a fucking Yowie. Sat down, rolled a smoke, and sat there and watched the cunts. And one of them put their neck out straight. And I was like, holy fuck, that's them. That's crazy, man. I'm trying to take photos on my phone and shit. I couldn't get close enough because it's an old shitty phone. Oh, I think that's the hardest my heart has ever pumped. I fucking shit myself.
Love that story.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah, so that's the best of the Yowie stories, boys.
Yeah, pretty good, man. I fucking love them. Love the Yowie stories.
I'd still love to actually see one legit with my own eyes and get it 2 or 3
Would be
seconds,
cool.
look at it and go, holy fuck.
Yeah, so we got the Black Panther stories around here. I believe it. Corey, the fella I work with, he's actually seen them because he used to ride to school and work and stuff, and has seen them.
Here, bro. The fucking circus come to Emmaville 40 years ago or whatever. A couple of big black cats got out.
Oh, right.
Well, so they say. And bred up with the native population, or the unnative population, introduced population, feral cats, wild cats. And some of the biggest cats I've shot, they're like 10 kilo tabbies, like 10, 11 kilo. They're fucking huge. They reckon that they still got the bloodline through the cats. I don't know how true it is or not. But...
You wouldn't know. So you started pro fishing, spear fishing, started diving.
I remember. So this is how fucking dodgy my family was when it came to shooting in the wrong spot, diving in the wrong spot. My old man, I wasn't allowed to get a spear gun. I think I was fucking 12 or 13. He bought me this hand spear, 3-piece A-mini hand spear, just riveted together. It was like $20 from a local fishing shop. Yeah, son. He chucked it in the tinny. Right, we used to go down the mouth of Bomble Creek in summer and chase whiting. He said, "Yeah, son, put your spear up on it," because the rivers just got shut down. Completely illegal to spearfish in any enclosed water in New South Wales. They just got shut down. He goes, "Chuck your spear up underneath the seat, mate, and I'll drop you in on a weed bed on the way up to the sandbank." I'm like, "Fuck you, Dad, let's go." I got my mask on, got my fins on. He pulls up next to the weed bed, drops me off. And I'd never speared anything before, even seen fish, big fish underwater for that matter. He's like, "Just take your time, fucking float over the weed and try and get a blackfish or a mullet." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm down with this shit. The water's a bit fucking chalky." I jumped in, done the first drift over this fucking weed bed, and this dirty big bull mullet comes swimming past me, and all I could see was his eye. I was like, "Holy fuck, that's a fish." It was like, blam, hit the cunt in the head, and he's doing backflips, and he unscrewed the fucking head off my hand spear. Swam off it. I swim back to the boat, I pulled the spear out of the water, I was like, is this supposed to happen? You're supposed to shoot the fish, and then you've got to find the cunt after it pulls the head off? He's like, "What the fuck did you do, cunt?" I'm like, "How the fuck did that happen?" I was like, "I just shot it and fucking started doing backflips and screwed the head of the spear off." I was like, what was I supposed to do? He's like, "Get in the fucking boat, get in the boat," and this is when first set of polarised sunnies that he ever had, right? So, and it blew my mind, as you can see through the surface of the water sand.
Yeah.
So we pulled anchor. He's drove around till he's found this fucking mullet laying on the bottom of the sandbar with a fucking 5-pronged hand spear head hanging out of its fucking eye. Scoops it with the scoop net, pulls it in the boat. He goes, "Fucking lucky cunt." Screws the head back on me spear, goes and chucks the anchor back out, and he's like, "Right, away you go." Sweet, jump over, went and plugged 2 or 3 blackfish, took it back to the boat. After I was like, "Fuck fishing. What are we fishing for? I can see the cunts and shoot them. Why would I want to do that?" And I just fell in love with it. And then I was 16. It was a couple of months after my 16th birthday, and I've been begging Dad for years. I need a spear gun. All my mates had spear guns. And I was just stupid and fucking wild when I was young. He said, "You're not getting a spear gun, cunt. You fucking..." He banned me from the rifle. I was just getting too wild. He said, "Not getting a spear gun." Fucking, after my 16th, he comes home and he's got this little Pelage Venom. Right? First railgun that fucking Pelage ever brought out. And it was $200, and that was big money for us back then. I was like, "Holy fuck, Dad, thank you so much, cunt." He's like, "Right, you want to go and test it out?" And I hadn't dived any deep water. I was just used to dive in the river. We'd done a bit of cray diving around the first island of Sortie and shit. He's like, "Fuck it, I'll drop you off down the mouth of the creek and go and shoot even blackfish, bring me a bag of blackfish." Yeah, sweet as. And I didn't have float lines or anything back then. I jumped in, banged like 20 blackfish. Got back out the mouth of the creek. I seen his ute marked up the top of the headland. Got back out the mouth of the creek, walked up the tar to go to him, and here comes fucking. This is the very first time I ever got in trouble with the fisheries. Here comes the fisheries in the national parks, walking down the boat ramp to go and check on the little turn site. And here I come walking up on the edge of the fucking riverbank with like a bag of 20 blackfish and a 900mm railgun, all me dive gear, it's in closed water. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Old man's out of the ute. They pulled me up straight away, and they're like, where's your parents? And I'm looking at Dad, and he's shaking his head. I was like, I'm just on my own. And they're like, bullshit, where's your parents? I was like, no, I'm just waiting to get picked up. It's like, I just got this new spear gun, and I jumped in off Jump Rock and swam all the way into the rock pool and then round into the river to get out. And they're like, where'd you shoot those blackfish? I said, right in front of the rock pool down there. And it's 50 metres outside the excluded zone, so I'm safe out there. So I fed them full of shit, and they're bronzies, like the blackfish were bronzies, river blackfish. You can pick the cunts apart straight away, live in dirty water. They knew I'd shot them out of the creek. Anyway, they walk up. Sorry, the old man comes walking down after I've been talking for like 5 minutes. He's sitting there shaking his head. He comes walking down. He's like, oh, what's the problem? To the fisheries officer of the national parks. And like, oh, we think your son's been diving in the river. And the old man just goes, fuck off, you got him on camera? No, we're walking down. He's walking up the bag of blackfish. He's like, I've been sitting there watching my son for the last hour and a half. He speared those fish off the front of the rock pool. Get fucked. He's like, come on, grab your gear, son, throw it in the ute, we're going. Week later, right, I wasn't even fishing, cunts. I was down there fucking surfing, bodyboarding. At Southeast, it was just about dark, packed up, walked back up the hill, and this fucking dodgy cunt, one of me mates' old bands, had the fisheries red hot on his heels because he was gill netting the mouth of the river. So the fisheries were up there waiting for him every night. Walk back up the hill, and fucking here's the two same cunts, National Parks and the fucking fisheries sitting in the car. They see me come flying out, like, we're going to write you a fine, cunt, rah. There's no mobile phones, nothing back then. I was sitting there waiting for Mum to pick me up. And like, she'd knock off work and then pick me and the boys up on the way home and drop them home. I'm sitting there waiting for Mum. Here comes the old boy, right? And they're giving it to me, fucking giving it to me. And he'd heard that Fieldsy, this other cunt, had been netting fish in Mouth Creek. He put two and two together and he goes, them fucking fishery cunt's going to be sitting there waiting for Chris as he walks up that hill. I'll fucking give it to him. Oh man, like, I'm sitting there talking to fishery, like, man, I'll give you fucking fine, cunt. We're going to take, they weren't swearing, but giving it to me, trying to staunch me.
Yeah.
We're gonna take your bloody spear gun on your dive gear. Oh man, gets out of the ute. He goes, get the fuck away from my son before I break both your fucking jaws. And like, he's placid as fuck, man, until cunts fuck with his family, right? And he's in them, fucking in them. You putrid dog should be fucking this. Oh, what is that? Fucking burn the salt. You're abusing my son. Full give it to him, mate. Looking back at it, no wonder the fucking fisheries hated me and wanted me so bad. Fucking dead.
What were they trying to write you up for? Were they trying to say that you were netting?
No, they were...
Or they're trying to get you from the last one?
Yeah, from the fucking... When they caught me with the blackfish, the spear gun.
With no evidence.
Yeah, because the fucking old man wasn't there. They're like, oh, we could put the wind up this cunt now. The old
Try and make him crack.
Fucking give it to him, mate. Fucking give it to him.
Oh, they'll do anything. How did you become a skipper, mate? How did all that come about?
Right, so... I finished the bakery, and I met this Sheila, and I just had a gutful of fuck this. Had a couple of mates up in Iluka. I grew up going to Iluka for 10 days every year with the family. So I got to meet a couple of locals, knew a few boys up there. Had my own truck. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna go and get a job in a boat. I'm changing my life. I'm changing my lifestyle. Fucking sick of this shit. Called the boys, and I originally got a job in the bakery, working for Josh in Iluka Hot Bake. So I'd start at midnight, work till 8 o'clock, knock off work, go and surf, and then on my way back from surf, I'd drop in the marina and help the boys unload. And I met this fella called Kyle. We called him Big Bot. He drank fucking box of long necks like every day. The cunt loved him. Anyway, I told him I was interested in getting onto the boats and having a dig. He goes, mate, my boss owns, I think it was 36, the Sea Shadow, owned by Gary Collis, 36, 37 foot. He only just sold it to Clark, probably 12 months ago. Anyway, he's like, oh, we can take you for a run, I can show you what it's all about. He's like, I won't be able to pay you, of course. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck about pay, just show me what this shit's about, so I can fucking, hold me own.
How old do you reckon you were?
So, I was 17 and a half.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just before I turned 18. So I'd done a bit of pro fishing work out of cost, trapping and hand lining, but I'd never ever fucked with prawn baits or tuna baits. Alright, so get up there, Biggie and Gaz take me for a run on the Sea Shadow. I'd do a couple of weeks of work with them, and Gaz walks up to me one morning after unload, and he's like, "Cunt, you're out working my deck hand. Like, you need a job. You need a job on a big boat. You know, you fucking do well. Just leave it with me. I'll see what I can do." Sweet as. And Paige, this other old cunt, he owned old Lucas Star, 30-foot boat. And I started doing a couple of runs with him and making $100 a night. I was thinking this is the best thing in the world. I'm making $300 a week in bacon. 330 weeks, $330 a week with bacon. So I'm thinking $100 a night on the boat is fucking sick. Got my own fucking 3-story unit, fucking doing well. So fuck yeah, this is shit. This shit's sick. And anyway, fucking one afternoon, the new fella comes to town, Tweed, Tony Reynolds. He bought the Tasman Star off Page, the bigger boat. And his Page was just too old to run it, so he used to run the Iluka Star, which is a small boat by himself. Anyway, fucking, I get a job with Tony and start work. He's the cunt. It was his son that crashed the yacht in Sydney Harbour and killed 20 cunts like 10 years ago. So he's fucking dodgy cunts. I used to transport gear and shit. Anyway, started working with him and it was good, but he was a kind of skipper where we'd winch up, fucking drop the cod ends, and I'd be sorting for 2.5 hours. He'd go and sit inside in the cabin while I fucking sorted the shot, and he'd walk back outside when it was time to winch up. So I'd work 15-hour nights and wouldn't sit down. I was fucking flogging myself. Anyway, the couple of boys, I was crook for a couple of days, and I come back to the boat, and all my shit is spread from arsehole to breakfast up the dock. I'm talking all my clothes out of my bag, shit spread everywhere. So I'm lit, looking for fucking blood. Went and knocked on the cunt's front door, kicked the cunt's front door in, he wasn't home. He's gone back to Tweed, went back down the boat, smashed the cunt up, drilled holes in the fucking side of it, man. Just me cordless fucking, we drilled 10mm bit, fucking boom, punched holes all around the outside where I could reach. I was going to sink the cunt. Like, smashed everything, all his fucking controls all through the wheelhouse, all the window, everything, boys. Ripped the mattresses out, pulled all the wiring out. And I left him a note saying, come and see me when you get back to town. Never heard from him. So the fella that owned the boat next door was Mal Kerr. It's the biggest boat on the east coast at the time, Chloe. And Tim Brim, his deckhand, he was getting married to his missus. His missus said, I had nothing working on the boat, so he went and got a job in town. And Mal come over. He said, mate, you're looking for work. He goes, I heard you're a goer. You want to have a crack with me? And tow and trip gear. Right, so we're talking 1.5 ton, 2-ton shots and doing 4 shots a night. I was like, dude, I'm in. Like, I'm in big time. So after 6 months, he's like, right, you go hard. I know you can run the boat on your own. Why don't you go and do your coxes and your masters? I was like, yep, sweet. Book me in a plane. Went and done me orals, me physicals, put me hours in, got me coxswains. And then that was when I started driving the boat on my own. Which links into the next story of putting the Chloe on its side in the river mouth, coming home from Big Islands. Are we that far ahead yet? Or just into that?
Go for it.
That's good.
Right, so the first day I got past me coxswains, I go back to Mal's, and we used to, the Kerr's a massive family, right, and they have their own production plant. So we'd go, instead of selling our produce to the co-op, we'd only sell prawns to the co-op. $15 a kilo for larges, and that's how we'd make money through the co-op. And all the rest of the fish, shit, squid, you name it, we'd all process for IQF to get sent overseas or sent to Tweed Bait. We were the main suppliers of Tweed Bait. So we go back to the shed after working 15-hour nights on the boat and process for 3, 4, 5 hours, and you make an extra $500 for the day, $500 for the night. So it was always worth doing. Anyway, first day, I got my licence. Come back, and we'd always have breakfast after we go and work the shed. Mal's mum, she's like fucking in her 80s, man, old school hard bitch, and she cooked breakfast for the boys, like a mob of 30 crew, every morning. We'd rock up, 9:30, breakfast on the table. Sweet. I pulled in the driveway, seen all the boys' utes there, and I'm proud as punch, right, walking up the front steps, nice big 2-story house, massive block, walking up the steps with my chest out, and old Rocket, he was the skinniest bastard you ever seen. Jesus Christ, but he worked. He wouldn't stop. We called him Rocket. And Rocket seen me coming. He looks in the window, he goes, look out boys, the big fella's got his licence, hide the keys. Mal walks straight out the front, pulls the Chloe keys out of his top pocket, throws them at me, he goes, sweet, I'm having a week off, see you later. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know, I haven't driven the boat on my own and run it on my own with anyone else but you, man. Like, not happening. You can come and show me the ropes, and then I'll have a crack. He's like, nah, you sink or you swim, princess. That's it, he's in his ute, he's gone. I had a mate that he was good decking, and I trusted him.
Couldn't wait.
I was like, sweet, let's do this shit, man. Big bag of gear, heap of shopping, let's go. Steamed down the big islands, filled the boat, man. Like, we had 10 tonne of just fish shit, and probably 3-4 tonne of prawn. The weather was beautiful, we're anchoring up like through the day, working all night, anchoring up through the day and sleeping, fishing, and it was just awesome time. And then, on that munted, I just slept for like 3-4 days. I'm at Munted, the phone rings, and it's Mal. Hey man, how you going? I was like, I've got the boat loaded, I'm going to head home in the morning. He goes, nah, you're coming home right now. Well, what for? What did I do wrong? He goes, have a look at the charts, dickhead. Have a look at what's coming up the coast that year. And I hadn't had to check the charts for days. I was just head down, ass up work. Having a ball, so I checked the charts. There's 40 to 50 knots worth of southerly pumping straight up, and it's only 2 hours away from me, and I've got a 6-7 hour steam home. He's like, man, get in the wheelhouse, steer for home, hit 12 knots. I was like, I didn't even know this boat could do 12 knots, dude. He's like, sit her on the red and let it ride, big fella. And that sort of put the wind at me. I was like, I've never seen him drive his boat that hard. Like, is it really that bad? And I called Troy Boy and Cross. I was like, she blowing down there? He's like, you're not a sea, are you? I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm just leaving the big island, Stephen home. The boat's loaded. It's going to be 45, 50 grand paycheck. He's like, can't get the fuck home. He's like, I didn't go to work this morning. It is blowing. Absolutely, and that put the wind up me. I shit myself. And I stopped talking. I'm pretty talky, can't be smashed, as you can tell. But I stopped talking, and the offsider's going, dude, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Like, mate, we're steaming into the gates of fucking hell is what's going on. By the time we got outside the lump, right, Pimpernel Rock, which is all shut down sanctuary zone now, it had 20-foot waves breaking on it. Like whitewash, breaking, man, barreling. I was like, holy fuck, what am I going to do? So we steamed right, it was sweet steaming in rough sea, because there's nothing to, sort of pull you up, you just charge through it. But we got back to the bar, it was just about, probably an hour before dark, hour and a half before dark, but the lights were on each side of the wall, so you can see the red and the green, the red on the amber side and green on the Luke side. I was like, right, we're sitting 2 mile out behind the mouth of the creek, and there's just 2-story buildings, man, marching in one after the other. Tides running out because we had a heap of fresh the week before, and these things are just standing up. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get in there. Mal calls, he's like, right, because he's standing on the end of the wall. He's like, I can see ya. He's like, get the young fella up the crow's nest. He's like, make sure he picks out a good lull and just give it to her. Come straight in the mouth. I'm like, man, I don't know about this. He's like, you're right, man, just fucking sit her on edge of red line, give it to her, and steer straight up and out the creek. Right, I've got this shit. Sitting there, psyching myself up, counting the fucking gaps in the sets. Like, young fella yells out, righto, Bevo, give it to her. Fuck, I was hesitated for probably 2 seconds. I'm like, am I going or am I not? Am I going or am I not? I was like, fucking going, let's go. Hit the hammer. We got, probably a mile and a half. I was probably 500 metres off the end of the wall. And I could see Mal. I'm like, oh, well, at least if I die, he's going to be able to see that it wasn't my fault. That's all I could think, man. I was like, if I think the boat die, it's all good, he can see me. So we're coming in through the heads, right, and I think, fuck yeah, I've got to do shit in this sweet. And we hit the Clarence is huge, man. Massive big drain of runoff fresh. So we hit the edge of where the fresh is pushing hard into the ocean, and the boat just stopped. I'm like, what the... And I'm flat back, I haven't got no more MERS to give up. And the boat's just stopped. I'm like, what the fuck is that coming up? He's like, look out the back, we're fucked. Look at there's like 2-story buildings creeping on the boat, man. It's like slow motion. It's just sitting there, just about right, like slow motion. And I looked out the back, I was like, get inside, shut the fucking cabin door, got inside, shut the door, hit the latch. That was it. We picked up, boat was on its side. My feet were on where I'd ashed my ciggy out of, a little triangle window. My feet were on the window, and my back was on the seat of my chair. I'm like, that's it, she's fucking, I just rolled her. She's like,
Brace
that's it, she's
yourself.
on the lid. Kick the throttle back, right? The boat has, with me right foot, kick the throttle back, the boat's righted itself. I've hit the deck, knocked the wind out of me, trying to scramble to grab anything I could to get back up, because I thought I was headed for the wall. I thought, right, the boat's fucking, it's righted itself, but now I'm heading for the wall. So I fucking jumped up, hit the cunt back as fucking many murders as I could give it. Like, went even further past the red line point where the little black line was. Fucking hammered the cunt. Bear come out of the drink. I seen the end of Collis's wall, which is right up the river, and the end of the T-piece. I just went, fucking line them cunts up and give it to her. Give it to her, got into the river. The decky is wide as a ghost. Like, I've never seen a man so wide in my life. He thought we were dead. I thought we were dead. I thought we were fucked. Yep, she come good, steered her up the river, and I had Mal, the two brothers, and Rocket all waiting at the wharf for me to unload. Rocket pulls out. I'll have to see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure it's saved on my Facebook. Rocket pulled out his camera, and it was the very first digital. Is it LSR? Digital LSR?
LSR, yeah.
Yeah, so the very first camera you can take photos of and see on the screen your photo. He's like, can't have a look at this. And all you can see is the stabiliser, 20 foot out of the water, the whole wheelhouse is gone, the back corner of the boat is about 6 foot above the water, the whole icebox is under, like, everything's swamped. He goes, dude, I thought you were dead. He goes, I lost sight of the boat. He's like, it was underwater, man. He's like, you don't have to fucking tell me, I can see it through the wheelhouse. Yeah, boys, I thought that's definitely the closest I've ever come into properly dying on a boat. Like, and that was the same boat I got blown off the back of working the bull ring. Did I tell you about that one?
Yeah, go on.
I was working school prawns, right? We just had a massive fresh, same boat, and this is before I got my licence. And Mal is like working the bull ring. You got 10 boats working it, and you're only 20 foot apart. So if anyone fucks up, you just get twist in the gear, boat sink, can't die. Right, simple as that. So you got one decky out the back on the sorting tray, winching up, drop the cod ends, reshoot, and then you got the skipper at the wheel, never leaves the wheel. So you're constantly behind another boat. It's crazy, scary shit, man, until you get confidence doing it. Anyway, it's rough as guts, like 10 foot of swell, and a big boat, you can take 10 foot of whitewash straight over the gunnel, and it feels like a sledgehammer inside the boat, and that's it, it doesn't budge. So we're working away, I'm pretty confident, but I hadn't slept for a couple of days, we've been working hard, and I'd usually tie myself in. So I got jumper, trackies, gum boots, wet weather gear, like dry skins, overalls, and a dry hoodie on over the top. So I haven't tied myself in, I'm working away, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Right, sweet, got the music pumping. I just dropped the guts out of a cod amp. Probably 400 kilo shot, bloody good for one bag. Shot away, started sorting, and I was getting a bit rolly, the tide had just turned, started pumping out hard, getting a bit rolly, and like, keep an eye on, I'll be right. As soon as I had that thought, I was up to my neck in water, watching the boat steam away from me. A big wave comes straight over the gunnel, picked me up, and just sat me straight over the back of the boat. I'm looking up, and all I can see is Chloe in white and green on the back of the boat, and blue steaming away. And it's like, that's it, I'm fucked. And it's like, when you're winching up, you got a million fucking bronze whalers following your cod end up under the lights. I knew I was surrounded by sharks. I was like, I'm fucked. I'm proper fucked. As soon as I hit the water, I started to sink. My wet weather gear filled up, my gum boots filled up. So I hit the snaps, quick releases on my wet weather gear, kicked my gum boots off, popped my head back up the top, and all I could see was the red light on the amber wall. And there was something in my brain that's like, cunt, you don't get there, you're dead. Turned into a fish, swam as hard as I could from the end of the wall. Well, I got to the edge of the wall, and we're talking a 60 foot off. A wave picked me up and sat me perfectly on a square boulder. Like they made them out of big old sandstone boulders. Yeah. Sat me perfectly on the edge of it. My legs were hanging over the edge of it, man, when the wash went back. I was like, what the fuck? Ripped to tatters, right, head to toe. Jumped up, ran up on the wall, like still trying to get my thoughts together, and here comes Mal steaming down the outside of the amber wall, going, run into the break and swim out through the breakers and I'll pick you up. I'm like, fuck you, cunt. I just fucking died. There's no way I'm getting back in that water. Get fucked. No, I'm yelling at him off the wall, just going, nah, get fucked, man. He's like, hard up, swim through the breakers and get back on the boat. I said, oh, fuck, if I don't, I'm not going to have a job. And by that time, I knew I wanted to be a skipper, so I'm like, fuck, I don't have any cockles, rah. I was like, I've got to do it. This is fucked. Walked down, jumped down the wall, walked like 10 metres along the amber beach, swam out through fucking 6-foot sets. The cunt comes in and picks me up, get back on the boat. He's like, right, I've got a dry set of wet weather gear here, chuck it on, go back to work. I'm like, dude, take me home. I don't want to be anywhere near that. He's like, man, if you don't go back to work now, you'll never get over it. He's like, you'll think about it too much and you'll never go back to work. Like, hard done, put your oilskins on, we're going back to do at least 2-3 more shots. I was like, man, this dude is fucking fruitcake. So we worked the rest of the night, 7 o'clock in the morning, get back to the marina, and by that time, every single boat had seen me hit the water, so every cunt in town knows what's happening. So I go up the pub, and I'm like, oh yeah, we heard you nearly died last night. Just blasé as fuck about it. I was like, yeah, I just about drowned. And like, yeah, you're about the 30th bloke that's happened to. I was like, what? How's no one fucking died out there yet? It's fucking wrong, man. After that day, I always tied myself in. Always. Whenever I was sorting, have these 20mm cords straight round me, tied into the shit chute. Couldn't go anywhere.
Don't get blown off, man.
Yeah, that was not far behind flipping the boat. That one. Yeah.
What have we got? Worst deckhand you've ever had. The worst deckhand you've ever had.
Here's a story for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, not long after I put the boat on the site, got back, it was a week of shit weather, so we didn't go to sea. Anyway, the weather come good, and I said to Mal, I want to do a day trip, or 2-day trip up the Broadwater, and see, back then we were getting $6 a kilo for whiting, red spot whiting, and I could knock over 10 tonne of them a day. So it's just licensed to print money. I was like, fuck it up, Broady, do a couple of day shots, and it'll be bloody good. So the offsider I had, he's a bit outgoing. We didn't really get along. So we had a falling out. I pulled into Tweed for the night. Right, pulled into Tweed, and this cunt quit. Got his missus to pick him up. He's gone back to Iluka. So I cracked the shit, gone up the pub for a beer, or gone up the pub for a run. Sitting there having a run, minding my own business. I knew the publican. I said, you know anyone that's good? And she said, mate, they're all the sea. Like, there's no one here. And there's this one fella sitting in the corner talking about netting, right, mash in the middle wall, like a bit 8-inch. And I'm thinking, fuck, he talks the talk. Like, he sounds like he's good. So I started talking with him. I can do this, I can do that, man. I've got no worries shooting 3 cottons by myself. I run all the gear. Like, you got to take me to sea. I was like, righto, you got a job. Let's go. Goes, and he's half pissed. Goes and gets his shit. He's got no oil skins. Rocks down the butt like, here you are, chuck these on. Like, right, let's go, let's do this, let's do that. I'm steaming. We just throw the ropes, throwing lines. I'm steaming. We just got outside the fucking harbour. I was like, righto, drop the stabilisers, bud. I just looked at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? Light went off in my brain. I was like, Bevo, you just made the biggest mistake of your fucking career, cunt. I was like, fuck it, I can't turn around and go back. I've got to go to work. I know that the fucking money's sitting there waiting to be made. I've got to go. Fuck it, I'm just going to push it. So I went out. I was like, right, let's put a couple of wraps around the nigger head and slowly let him down. And he's looking at me going, what the fuck's a nigger head? Oh, fuck, here we go. Jesus fucking Christ. So I let down the stabilisers. We're steaming out through the bar. And this cunt's spewing. Halfway through the bar, he's down the back, spewing, shitting himself. Right, in the fucking corner of the boat, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go, fuck this shit. Call Pound. Oh, cunt, I fucking just got this cunt on the boat. He talked the talk, but he definitely doesn't walk the walk. He's white as a ghost down in the corner. I was like, is it alright if I just go and feed him with the decos? And I was like, fuck, give it to him, cunt. Went and got the decos, put it on full blast. I'm down the back corner, just sending it fucking straight into the face of this cunt. Going, get up, we're going to work. Hard the fuck up. You just told me you knew what you were doing? I ain't letting you cost me a night of work. Fuck that, get up, we're going to sea. The cunt was that crook and that. Fucking useless, like absolutely useless, man. Done most of the shit on my own all night, went back, got back to the marina. The cunt didn't even help me unloaded by myself. Did I ever tell you about the old wog fella? He's like a wog cross Asian fella from the back of the Tweed Marina.
You're about to.
He's probably mid 60, 70-year-old, and I'd always give him a handful of prawns, and he'd sit there and have a feed, and he'd catch bream or mangrove jacks with heads of prawns on handline. So I knew that he knew how to fish, and I pulled up, and this cunt has done the runner. I didn't even pay him. I didn't give him a fucking $1 for going to work that night. I said, you can get fucked, cunt.
Work experience.
Fuck off me boat. Yeah, I was just told him to get fucked.
Well, he didn't do anything.
And he went back to the fucking... This cunt went back to the pub and told every cunt that I'd jammed the deck hose down his throat and tried to fucking drown him. And then I was going to throw him over the back of the boat before I come back to town. Every cunt thinks I'm a psycho murderer. Right, so no cunt wants to get on the boat with me. Anyway, this old fucking wog Asian fella that always used to give a handful of prawns. I'm unloaded. This is just after the fucking cunt got off my boat. I was like, mate, you ever worked on boats before? And he's like, yeah, mate, yeah, I grew up doing it, working school prawns in the river. I said, mate, you wouldn't mind coming to work a couple of nights with me, would you? So I'll pay you fucking $400 a night. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm in. The hardest working fucker I've ever had on a boat. Hands down. This cunt was 3 times my age, and he was running rings around me, dude. And I knew my shit, and he's fucking running rings around. I'm like, holy fuck, you want a full-time job? He goes, no, I too well. He goes, I work for you one night. Every time you come to Tweed, you bring me prawn. He goes, no money, I have plenty of money. He goes, you bring me prawn. I was like, dude, I'll give you whatever the fuck you want. You work like that for a night. Fuck me dead, that's 50 grand in my pocket. Let's go. He was a hard old cunt. That was definitely the worst deckhand, man. And the worst thing was, I was a bit of a fuckwit. Like, if he didn't talk shit, I wouldn't have given it to him, right? I wouldn't have fucking fed the cunt like I did. Then he gets off the boat and tells every cunt in town I'm a psycho fucking axe murdering cunt. Tried to drown him and throw him out the back of the bum. I went to the pub, grabbed a rum, and it was a husband and wife that owned it, 2 publicans. And the wife, she was a psycho. The husband said, mate, if you ever fall asleep around the bitch, make sure you got one eye open because you fucking stab you. Rosetta was the name, or Rosita. Rosita. Anyway, she comes up to me and she's like, you fucking trying to kill that cunt? I was like, he's fucking full of shit. Told her what happened, and she told all the crew, and then I was sweet. But yeah, it's definitely the worst, man. Fuck, he was a pork chop.
What was your best catch for the week? Or your best haul?
Prawns or fish shit?
Either. Or both.
I've got a couple. So, we found this ground. I was all about, when I first got my cocks, I was all about marking out new ground. Hang on, Sam, sorry.
You're right, man.
Are you serious?
You're getting in trouble.
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
Got a sneak one in. Right, so, what was I talking about again?
Your best catches, prawn and fish.
Right. Righto, so I had my coxswains, and I was all about, when I first got it, I was all about finding new ground. Right? I was like, I want to find ground that no cunt has ever worked. Like, it was my mission. I was like fucking the new explorer of Australian waters. I was like, I'm going to find patches no cunts ever worked. Fuck, I'll be the OG. So I started looking at the edge sanctuary zones, right? And outside, I'm too drunk, can't even look at the called now. Angary, right? Angary Reserve. It's a massive big enclosure, like a fucking a park. Anyway,
Marine
park, yeah. And right on the edge of it, there was this massive big sand spit, like probably 10 mile long, but it was only about 400 metres wide, right? And each side of it had a fuckload of reef. My gear would spread 250 metres wide, so I had like 60 metres to play with, and that was it. So I fucking shoot away, have the 3D scan on, find exactly where my gear was, and toast. I ended up calling it Dragon's Gully. I'd fucking do a shot straight up the hill, shoot away, do a shot straight up the hill for about an hour, 45 minutes an hour, winch up. The first shot I ever done, we had 1,400 kilo of tiger prawn, and the biggest prawn in the cod end was 46 centimetres long. I'll find a photo. I'll chuck it up in chat in a second. I've got it laying on my arm, on my forearm. It goes from the tip of my middle finger halfway up my bicep.
Fucking hell.
Big
huge.
prawn, dude. Massive. Absolutely
What'd you do with it? Did you eat
Ate
it?
the cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking no. We butterflied it, cooked with garlic butter on the
Fuck
on the
yeah.
boat.
Be like eating a
I didn't
lobster.
weigh it in. I kept 5, the biggest 5, and he was the biggest, but the other 4 below him were only 4 or 5 centimetres shy. So fuck, we got some big prawns that night, dude. And then some can't open their fucking mouth. So the next thing I know, I got 10 boats trying to work my patch. I just fucking get outside and start blasting rounds. Get the fuck out of here. I found the cunt. You can get fucked, right? So it just started getting fucking raped and pillaged, that joint. Anyway, we had a massive fresh. And the weather was shit for a couple of months. I said to Mal, fuck it. I'm going down to have a shot at Dragon. See how I go. And we'd never seen number 1 extra large king prawns push in there. You get a handful, you get 20 kilos of kingies to 80 kilos of tiger, right? Never seen that many kingies in there. So I done a shot away, and I towed for about 20 minutes, and the boat's knocked back from 2.5 knots or 3 knots to 0.5, 1.8. I was like, fuck, I'm hung up here. This is fucking bullshit. I've done that many shots down here. I know it inside out. How the fuck I get hung up? Like, some other cunt's been hung up, and I'm hung up on his gear. I'm on the radio. Who the fuck's been shooting away? His drags lost their gear. I'm fucking hung up on it. I find you, cunt. You'll be paying for me fucking gear. And the decky walks in as I'm skidding on the radio. And he's like, dude, the winches are turning. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, the winches are turning. Walk out the back, the codams hit the top, floating, like with slack fucking headline. I was like, holy fuck, cunt. It was like Volkswagens in every codam. I'm like, nah, they're not fucking king. No way. Dumped the first codam, the cleanest fucking king prawn you'd ever seen. 1,100 kilo, 1 codam.
Wow.
3 codams for 3.5 tonne. So you're looking at $16 a kilo.
Fucking hell.
3.5 tonne in 40 minutes. 40 minutes, man.
Fucking hell. What a day.
I turned around,
what
I
a
done
fish.
one shot. Well, I couldn't put any more on the boat, dude. I didn't have anywhere to put them. Like, the fucking ice box was full. And we didn't even use ice back then, cunt. We were the first boat that had the fucking refrigeration unit. And the biggest fucking, the sorting table and the biggest fucking ice box in the fleet. And I still fucking had the cunts piled up in baskets on the deck, running the deck hose over just to get home. We pulled up in the back of the co-op. I called Mal as I was steaming in. I was like, cunt, you're not going to believe what I got. Thought I was stirring him up. Got down because we used to have to hook up the pulley to the edge of the ice box, and you lift it backwards up through the gantry. I wrapped around the nigger head and lift it up, and lift up almost vertical. I lifted the cunt up, and there's still prawns kicking out the top of the cunt. Right, and they've been on in the cool box for half an hour, 40 minutes. He's like, what the fuck? Are you trying to sink the boat, cunt? I was like, don't say nothing negative, dude. That's the most prawn that's ever been on this boat. But what the fuck do we do with them? I'm like, fuck, you better get on the phone and tell the cunts to get down to the co-op because they've got about 10 hours of work in front of them. He walks away laughing, smiling. 20 minutes later, every cunt in town is down on the dock trying to work out. One cunt was trying to look through me fucking windscreen through the side of the wheelhouse to find where I shot away. Find me marks, yeah. After that, I'd go out, get me 1.5 tonne, 2 tonne a night. Not a problem. Not a problem. Because every cunt was starting to get hung up down in fucking dragons. So I was the only cunt that was working. And I thought we'll make some money off the fish shit. Like, we'd have fucking 70, 80, 90 grand for 2 shots, man. Like, that's just a license to print money. License to print money.
And fish?
So the biggest load of fish I've ever had was on the prawn boat. Biggest load of fish shit that I ever had on the prawn boat was up working Broadwater when the whiting and the flathead were paying fuckloads. And we're coming back through the Tweed Bar, and the back left quarter was dipping underwater. As we'll come pulling into the co-op, like pulling into the marina, it was dipping underwater. Like, that was fucking stupid. I should not put that much weight on the boat. It was fucking dumb. As just young, inexperienced, and got greedy. That's how cunts sink boats. But the most fish I've ever put on a boat was trapping leather jackets. We used to trap crays out in 200 metres, and September, October, the leather jackets are pushing. and we couldn't trap crays, we couldn't trap snapper, but we get 1,500 kilo trapper jackets. So you're winching them up out of 200, and the trap hits the top while you still got 50, 60 metres of slack line that you're winching up and nigger at. Well, the swim bladders float up, or explode, expand, and it floats the trap to the top. It's like a volcano bubbling underwater, man. Fucking balls out of the water they come. So I was on the Xanadu, that same boat I filled up full of sharks that I sent you photos of. So I was working 20 traps, and we done 2 trips with 50 ton of leather jacket. 2 trips, 24 ton one trip, 26 ton the next trip. Out of the same 20 traps. So that was the most fish I've ever put on a boat, and that was without heads. That's fucking headed and gutted.
What were the leather jackets paying?
60 cents a kilo, I think. 80 cents a kilo. But there's nothing else to chase that time of year. So it's drying the jackets or don't make money.
Yeah, fair enough. What about, what have I got here? Being a dog at Tweed, what sort of skipper were you?
I was a very hard man to work for, I'll put it that way. I had very high standards, I knew what I wanted done and how I wanted it done, and if you didn't do it my way, you can take the fucking highway. Which is, it's kind of an OG outlook, but you need to make it come across like you're not a fuckwit. As I had the OG outlook, but I was just a pompous asshole that thought he could punch the fuck out of anyone and own the ocean, so... you catch more flies with fucking honey than vinegar, boys. Put it that way. I learnt my lessons. There's no point in being a uppity fuckwit when you got good people around you that can help you and not helping yourself. It took me a long time to learn that, chill out a bit. But I mean, it's fucking hard, you know. You got a multi-million-dollar boat that you're driving when you're fucking 18, 19 years old, and like $100 million a year operation. That you got all that weight on your shoulders. Like, you can't afford to fuck up. You know, if you're not a hard cunt and cunts take you the wrong way and think I can walk over this cunt, that's it. Your fucking career's ruined. Like, you got to be a mince head, but I just took it too far. Like, there's a line between knowing what you're doing and being confident and being a fucking jackass. And I was definitely a jackass for a lot of years.
Yep. What about towards the other boat owners, man, around Tweed and that?
Oh, fuck. I've got, looking down at my hands now, all my knuckles are flat. I've got scars on every finger, every knuckle's been split and broken, every finger's been broken, and 90% of that was box on with other boat drivers, boat owners. And not just owners, just captains, skippers, that thought they were better than me and could shoot away 50 metres in front of me. Like, I just pulled the rifle out and started fucking letting rounds fly through the wheelhouse. I didn't give a fuck. Didn't care. I chased this fucking big fat cunt. He was a shark fisherman, right? And he talking all this shit. This was when I first started shark fishing. And talking all this shit. And he asked me if I'd ever seen a dead body. I'm like, who the fuck asked a young cunt that? He's like, oh, you're not as fucked up as me. And I was like, right, I picked the hammer up and started chasing the fat cunt around the back dock. Like, throwing it at him, picking it up, throwing it at him, hitting him in the back of the head. I was like, you want to see a dead body, cunt? I'll fucking show you your own. Like, just complete fucking fruitcake. Ended up fucking him right up, and I got banned from the marina. I wasn't allowed back in the marina for like 6 months.
Yeah. What about radio chatter? That time you were cruising out and they were all saying, oh, fucking Bevo's coming.
Oh, that was a Tweed too, cunt. That was fucking out the back of Dragons. That was when all the fucking fish shit was on. The cunts were out there trying to scrounge up a pay, and I had a fucking trip here, like I said, 210 spread, and the cunts, they're only towing fucking single gear or twin gear, and like the cunts knew I was cleaning up, like 2 shots, fill the boat and go home, and they're all out there in my hole. Like, I fucking found this hole. It's my hole. No one knew it existed before I found the cunt. Oh, it's mine. So I'm steaming out, coming across the bar, and the radio lights up on 16. Bevo's coming, boys, just got a phone call, he's steaming out across the bar now. And I sat there for 5 minutes listening to them all talk and got straight on the radio. Fuck you cunts, I'm going to come straight in, shoot away straight over the fucking top of yous, and use all 1,600 horses to tow yous fucking backwards straight up the canyon. By the time I got there, every cunt's, like, they see me coming, and they've all winched up. Like, when you're towing, you got no deck lights on. All you can see is red and green nav lights. That's it, and one little white light at the top of the entry. So as soon as they see me within 2-3 mile, all the deck lights come on. Everyone's winched up. I pulled straight up. There's a cunt about to shoot away, and he was in. We called it the Knights boat. It was only a little boat, fucking blue, red, and white cunt. And he's just about to shoot away in front of me. I was like, fuck that. 10 knots straight over the top of him. I'm talking just about clip the cunt's bow. Said to the decky, fucking throw the gear, cunt. As soon as I got a metre or two past his bows, I throw the fucking gear, cunt. That's it. Put me shot straight in front of him. Let the fucking winches fly. 100 fathom. Shot straight to the bottom. Let's fucking go, cunt. Towing at 3.5. Like, let's fucking show these cunts who's who. Like, they want to fucking see how I work. I'll show them how I fucking work. Bang, dragged the shot straight down the fucking guts. Turned around, winched up, dropped the cod ends, shot away, fucking straight up the hill, 3.5, marching up the hill. Every cunt's on the radio going, is this cunt fucking mentally sane? Like, what's he doing? Got on the radio and going, boys, I've got 5 ton in the box, how the fuck are yous going? No reply. Like, that's what I fucking thought, cunt. Stay out of me way and get the fuck out of me, can you? It's called Dragons for a reason, cunt. I am the fucking dragon.
Fucking
Yeah, they didn't like me, but that, like I said, man, I didn't have to be there for that. Like, fuck, I could have went out, hey boys, how he's going? He's having a good shot. He's mine if I poke him behind and shoot away. And I had better gear than anyone, so I would have fucking outfished him anyway. It's just the bravado. I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you.
That was your ego back then.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm 30 years younger than you, and I'm still fucking smoking. You cunt. You've been doing this your whole life. Like, you want to see, and every cunt, it's like the bitchiness of the fishing industry, boys. It's like fucking teenage girls, right? They yak. How's this cunt doing that? How's this cunt doing that? How's he doing this? So they want to see your work. And I heard the cunt on the radio say, I want to see how this cunt shoots away and fucking dredges. I'll fucking show you cunts. Ripper it, 3.5, straight down the guts. No, I'm back. Yeah, I definitely would have made a lot more. I don't know if I would have made more money, but I definitely would have made a lot more friends. Fuck friends. And in the fishing industry, there's no such thing.
Yeah. Any boat fires or nothing like that? Anything silly?
There was, give me a sec, just having a swing and I'll make another rumba. I've got a good boat fire story, actually. One boat fire that I've seen in my life. Proper boat fire.
Boiling potatoes here.
Yeah, knocking up spuds. So, I got a job at Cost Marina. Alright, this is when I first moved down to the farm, and I was telling you about a reference. I was running 1,000 acres, crabbing at night, and I wasn't making that much money, so I thought, fuck, I'm going to get a job at the marina. And it was my ideal job, boys, tying up boats, like looking after the yachts, booking cunts in, had to go and do my VHF ticket, and UHF ticket, and it was me to a T. I fucking loved it, absolutely loved it. Anyway, we had a big storm come in, so all the tuna boys have come in and tied up and gone to hit piss for 3 days. Right, sweet. So it was, I think it was a Saturday night or a Sunday night, and I was on call. Right, so if anyone come in, we'd have people from all over the world in yachts, dude. Just turn up out of the blue, mate. Can you book us in? Always find a slot, be the most genuine kind of good. So I was on call. I get this phone call from we used to call her Susie Q. She was an old cokehead that lived on a yacht in the marina. Absolute gem of a Sheila. I get a phone call. Susie, big fella, you need to get into the marina. There's a fucking boat on fire. I said, what the fuck are you talking about, Suze? She goes, get in. She goes, I know I'm waking you up. Get in the fucking ute, because I was 40 minutes away from work, living in Repton. Had to drive across. So she's like, get in the ute, and I'll fucking call you in 20 minutes while you're driving. Right, I know, Suze, thank you. Hung up the phone, got dressed, fucking rolled a ciggy, out the front door, in the ute, belting it towards the marina. Susie calls again. She's like, well, now there's fucking 2 boats on fire. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, how far out are you? In 10 minutes. He goes, right, put your foot down. Got there. 100-foot flames in the air coming.
Fuck.
The biggest cloud of black smoke you've ever seen. The blackest, thickest smoke you've ever fucking seen. Right? I shit you not. And the smell. Oh my god. Like, chemicals. The fucking, fiberglass on fire, boys. Horrible. Anyway, what happened? The tuna boys had had a really good week. One of the tuna boys, they were actually from Ulladulla, and they were only stopping in because the weather was shit, and they had to unload. So the tuna boys had a really good trip. Thought they come back, shelter from the shit weather, get on the grog for a few days. Boys are going out, went to the pier, which is the local pub, fish pub. Hit the grog, no tuna fishermen, probably hit the gear. So they come back, young fellas come back, fucking munted, went and cooked the feed in the galley. Alright, fucking lit the galley on fire. The fire made its way into the engine room. Everything's electronic, right, at this point. This is when all the new electronic switches come in and shit. Everything's electronic, so the boat's running, genset's running. Fire makes the engine room, knocks the boat, burns through the fucking electronics, knocks the boat into forward in full revs. 12 grand. 70-foot boat, tuna boat, 75-foot tuna boat. Done a big, busted, the brogue's burnt through. Right, this cunt before it was even full black smoke from the fire, it was pumping out that much soot from the engine, revving its tits off, but every cunt thought it was going to blow up. The lines burnt through. It done a massive, big fucking left-handed surf around the marina and hit the yacht that was tied up out the front of my workshop called the Owl and the Pussycat. Right, hit that, burn out the whole fucking two boats, burn out half the jetty that was coming out from the back of the co-op, run up the inside of the North Wall, burn out half of it. They all got it put out. Sweet as, got some fucking cool photos of it, some cool footage. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, the next day, going to work, went home, slept for a few hours, went back to work. And me and my offsider were sitting in the shed. I was having a ciggy, we're having a smoke up. And here comes a lady from Prime News, right, with a cameraman walking out, this fucking little tart all dressed up. I said to Tim, here we fucking go, cunt. We'll see what this cunt's got to say. Didn't ask her, seen us sitting there, right, in my workshop. This is right in front of the cop tape around the Owl and the Pussycat, this fucking piece of shit boat. So she starts doing this news fucking broadcast, right? It wasn't live, they were just taping it for that night. Anyway, she's down there, and they start filming, and me and Timbo are sitting there listening, and she goes, I'm just coming down to Costa Marina, where a 75-foot tuna boat has caught flames and done a big fucking circle around the marina and bumped into this it was 250 or 300 grand, $250,000 yacht called the Owl and the Pussycat, and it's burned it to the ground. And I walked out and I said, oh, yeah. I said, this cunt's worth about 15 grand on a fucking good day. At the moment, it's just a piece of shit, man. Full of rust, fucking, everything was fucked on. Anyway, she's like, oh, yeah, rightio, can you give me a bit of information? So I told her what happened. They start filming again. She's like, oh, I'm currently down at the Costa Marina. I'm standing in front of the Owl and the Pussycat worth $50,000. I'm like, what the fuck? Bitch, I just fucking told you the cunt was worth fucking 15 grand on a good day. Like, what the fuck are you playing at? After that, I never believe a thing that comes out in the news, fellas. I told her, point blank, what it was worth, how it happened, and she just continued on with this big fucking spiel. So, what the fuck?
That's news for you. Yeah, viewers. Yeah, exactly. What made you go from the ocean to fresh?
A few different things. I'd been pro fishing for a long time, and I was like, that was when me and Joe first started. Like, we've been together for 10 years now, and it's like we were first starting to get serious. Like, it was the first house that we moved out down at Repton. It was the first house we had, and we both worked and doing well. And the old fella that owned the farm, he expected a lot more out of me than what I could give. Like, he wanted 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was just too much. And I got to the point, boys, where I'd go to bed at midnight after I got everything done, and I'd hit the noise of his truck, right? He had a 3-litre turbo diesel Patrol, 2008 model.
Oh yeah, you would have heard that.
The noise of him pulling the driveway used to wake me up with tears in my eyes. That's how fucked I was, because I didn't want to go to work. It was just pushing me too hard. So I got to a point, I just burned out. I couldn't do it anymore. It's too much for one man to handle. 1,000 head on 1,000 acres is too much for one man. And he just pushed too hard, and I said to Joe, fuck, I need to change. I said, I'm sick of pro fishing, I'm sick of fucking working down here. Let's go out west, and I'll get a job out in Ranges Valley or shoot. Fucking doing doing something. I said, fuck it, let's just go, because her parents live in Glenniness, or stepdad and mum both live in Glenniness, and sister live in Glenniness. I was like, fuck it, let's just go. Like, I want something different. I want to be able to drive out the road, shoot a deer and eat it. Like, I love chasing cod, I love chasing yellows, I love chasing trout. And I was already fishing for trout a fuckload at Ebor before we moved up here, and then I just started guiding. I was like, well, I fucking know how to chase trout, I know I'm good at it. Why don't I start charging cunts to come and do the same thing? And one thing led to another, and that was it. We ended up out here, and it's for the longest time. Like, we've been here for 6 years now, and for the longest time, like 3-4 years, always told myself I'm only here for a short period of time. Like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life here. But after living here for years and then going back to visit the family in Coffs, I can't handle it. Like, I drive into Coffs and there's a million cars, and anywhere you want to go fishing, there's 2 or 3 other cunts on a ledge, and I'm like, fuck this. Like, I can go and buy 100 acres for the same price I can buy a fucking 2-bedroom house for in Coffs, in Glenniness. Like, fuck, why don't I just stay out here, build a big trout pond in my backyard, and I can just work out of my house. Like, fuck, I'm going to be happy, don't have to deal with any kind of shit. Like, fuck, I'm a Western here.
Yeah.
That's a plan. Still fish are sold a fair bit. Mackerel season and dewy season I fish are sold heaps.
So tell us about your guiding though. Like, what's your setup? How do you go about it? How do you maintain your streams, all that sort of stuff? What do you do exactly?
So when I first started, I used to go down. I'd take the boys up to Ebor before we moved here, and I grew up shooting it and camping there with Flicky's family. They knew the people that owned the cabins back in the day, out Little Sticks. So I started meeting the people, the locals, you know, the company that owned the pub and all the people with local houses in town. When I started fishing it from Rempton, me and Rob, and we moved up here, and I got a bit bigger in the fishing industry, you know, from sponsors and shit, and met a few cunts that were presidents of fly clubs and interested in chasing trout, and I constantly have cunts messaging me on Facebook saying, dude, can you take us fishing? And I never used to charge cunts, ever. I just look at them as the boys, you know, come up, fuck yeah, I'll take fishing, dude, not a problem. And after a while, Mrs. is like, fuck me, cunt, you're going out fishing like 4 or 5 day stints, you're making nothing. Like, fucking start charging the cunts. Well, that's the next step, so I just started doing 1 or 2 cunts here and there, get them to pay, and then they go back and tell the rest of their fly club about it. You know, fucking word of mouth spreads, man, and one thing leads to another, and yeah, it's good. But it's back then I never used to stock anything, so I didn't know any of the boys at the hatchery. I didn't know any of the OG. Like, I'm talking OG trout boys from the 60s, like mid 50s, 60s. They had them in their tanks before they were even fucking stocked in the streams. So I started meeting all them cunts, met Big Dog at hatchery, and you can do the dollar for dollar fish program. So the New South Wales Fisheries put front 10 grand a year for the fishing club, and then they'll also match it, so you get 20 grand's worth of fingerlings for free. And we got lined up into that, and that was when I started to stock the systems, and we started putting signs up saying private property, no entry, and just getting the farmers to kick cunts out. Well, we pay them royalties to fish it every year, so it was ours. And yeah, it's just over the years the fish have gotten bigger, the stocks have sort of worked themselves out at the perfect level, so the fish still get good size, but there's a shitload that comes through the system. Now I just stay on the same program every year, 100,000 fingerlings a system every season. Yeah, it seems to do bloody good.
So you got a stretch of river, and then you got a dam as well that you put them all in.
So
Is that right?
there's probably 15k stretch of river, and then we've got the pond outside the cabin. So the pond is only stocked with yearlings and brooders. So the old fish that can't be used for breeding anymore at the hatchery, they just chuck them in the pond so we can have a bit of fun with them. But the fish you want to eat, they're only a year and a half old, 35, 40 centimetres long. They've still got a rough fat in them. They've got that pellet flavour out of it. So you get the boys to chuck 10 boxes of yearlings in the pond, and then it keeps the cunts happy all season. The cunts are like, if they want to smoke a trout, I'll say, well, we won't knock one on the head out of the river. After we fish the river, we'll go up and fish the pond. You can knock one over out of it, and we'll smoke it. They're always a better eating fish. You've got a lot more tucker. They don't have to fight the current, which I find is a big thing. The river fish are more muscular than the dam fish, the pond fish. The pond fish sort of just cruise around and surf on nice and slow all day. See a bug on the top, oh yeah, I'll sip that. See a crab on the bottom, yeah, I'll eat that. See a shrimp, yeah, I'll eat that. Like they just slowly cruise around and pick, whereas the cunts in the river currently fight 6-7 knots of current, and they're streamlined.
They're just built.
Yeah, streamlined muscles, man. That's it.
Yeah. How'd you get on to meeting Adzi and all that? Why don't you tell people who he is, what he does?
Alright, so he'd be best mate. May as well be me brother. Adam Townsend. So before I moved to Glen, I got sponsored up. You know, I was fucking getting up there in the fishing community. Cunts were starting to know who I was. Like in the not the pro fishing, like pro boat fishing, but like sponsored fucking pro star. And I started to get my name out there. And when I first moved to Glen, I couldn't get weed, and Adzi's brother Dion was the only cunt. I don't even remember how many. Actually, yeah, I do. We're getting weed off these two gay cunts, and they called Dion and asked if they could go and if Dion could go and grab a bag. They did. And he comes back and he's like, I couldn't find it, cunt, but I got some buds, you want some? Oh, that'd be fucking sick, dude. So I met Dion, and it was probably 6 months later. Before we moved up, I sent Adzi a message, because he's mad keen on YouTube, got his videos. I sent him a message saying, cunt, I'm moving to Glen, you keen for fish? And he never wrote back, so I thought, fuck the snobby prick, he can suck a dick. So, anyway, I met his brother, and Dion just moved in a new house, and Braden, Adzi's other brother, the youngest, or second youngest, I met him as well, and I just come back from the dam, caught 2 metre fish, and I was dropping into Dion's to get a bag of wheat, and I just pull up in the driveway, jump the back fence, and let myself in the back door. Like I knew the cunts that well. I opened the back door, and here's Adzi standing there with a fucking hot one in his hand. I was like, what the fuck? I know, in my brain, I was like, I know who you are, cunt, but what the fuck do I say to you? Like, I didn't know whether he didn't want to bar me because he didn't write back, or I didn't know. Like, so I walked in, walked past Adzi, give him the fucking evils, give Braden a hug, give fucking Dion a hug, started talking shit with them, and then 5 minutes later, Adzi's like, oh man, I'm fucking Adam, I'm the brothers with the boys, right? I was like, yeah, I know who you are, cunt. I sent you a fucking message and he never wrote back. First thing I ever said to him, I know you fucking are, cunt. I sent you a message and you never wrote back. Fucking YouTube. What are you talking about? I was like, I sent you a message off my account on YouTube on one of your fishing videos asking if you wanted to go cod fishing. He's like, fuck off, cunt, I've never seen it. And I was like, fuck, pull it up and find it. He pulls it up and finds it. He goes, I'm so sorry, man. And he was working at Woolies at this time, right? So he'd start at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, knock off at 11:30 at night. And we started yakking. And the next night, very next night, right, I had that day off and I was going to go cod fishing. And that was after we come back from the dam and I busted them 2 metres. I met Adzi. I went down to Woolies to get some Red Bulls, right? And I'm walking down the fucking chocolate aisle where the Red Bulls are, and here's Adzi packing shelves. He's like, Bevo, how you going, man? Fucking rah. I'm like, yeah, good dude, I'm about to go fishing. He's like, fuck, you want to wait for me? He's like, I knock off at 11:30. You want to wait for me? I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll chop up a mix, I'll sit there and wait for you, I'll have a coffee waiting for you and everything. So he's fucking turned up about 1:45 to midnight, all this fishing gear in his ute, come in, had a mix, had a coffee, went out in the river, first cast, he busted 1.10 metre, biggest river fish he's ever caught. And in a section of the river that he hadn't fished fuck all through the night. I was like, dude, I know there's big fish in there, we're going to get stuck in them. First cast, man, busted 1.10 metre. Ever since then, like family, fucking fish together, camp together. He doesn't drink that much. I managed to get a 6-pack of beers into him one day and he's sloppy as fuck.
Oh shit, call that.
That was on his birthday. He had to drive the boat too because I was fucking blind. He's freaking out.
Good
Yeah,
call,
he's a heart
guy.
of gold, that fella. Absolute fucking legend. When you come up, Kill, you'll meet him.
Yep.
He'll come fishing with us.
Yeah, that would be good. So he does a bit of.
He's
He's on.
He used to be the Megabass rep for New South Wales. We call him. He used to be called the Cod King, and then he became the Cod Guru for a while.
The Cod Guru.
And then Captain Cod. That was for probably 6 or 8 months. And when the GT busted down, when it come down, it's like, what the fuck do we call Adzi? I don't know, fucking the Codfather. He's like, yeah, that's it, cunt. He's
The Codfather.
He's the Codfather. He's caught more meter fish than anyone I know in New South Wales, man. Fuck, he's a freak. Absolute freak. He just snips them out.
So does he? You're a cameraman, or do you take photos for his magazine shoots, or what do you?
Yeah, so he writes articles for Fishing Monthly every month. So the New England updates, Pindari and Copeton and the trout streams, and Beardy and Seven, how everything's fishing, how everything's going. And yeah, he just fucking. I went off being a public figure in the eyes of fishermen probably 5 or 6 years ago. Or 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't want my photos put in magazines anymore. Like, I was writing a few articles back then. I was sick of cunts. Every cunt wants something for nothing in the fishing industry, and I just got sick of it. So I started taking photos for everyone else. Like, I get on the piers, fish, film, take photos, and I just stopped taking photos of my own fish for a long time. Like, when I first got rid of Facebook, I was catching meteries and just like, yeah, whatever, pull hooks out of them, let them swim away. Just getting that enjoyment of getting back to the basics of fishing again. Not having to fucking film everything or put everything on Facebook. Just really enjoying myself. Yeah, that's it. Really enjoying myself. And Adzi, he was still a fucking Instagram slut, all about that fucking fame. And I feel kind of bad because I pushed my mentality onto him, and now he's just a tardy cunt like me. He doesn't want a bar of any cunt. He doesn't fucking use fuck all Facebook anymore. I'm like, dude, you just turned into me. I was like, but in saying that, it's a natural progression in the fishing industry. Now, you don't make fuck all money off being sponsored. You get free gear, yeah, that's all good. But fuck me, I can get cost price gear from the biggest fucking fly rod producers in the world just because I'm a mate with the rep. Like, you don't have to be fucking sponsored. It's not like you think growing up, that's the pinnacle. Being sponsored by Shimano or Daiwa or a custom rod builder, that's the pinnacle. But it's not. It's all lies. It's a bit of a bummer.
It is what it is, but you still go fishing with him pretty regularly even now.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, I fished took him last Sunday? Last Monday. Might have been last Monday. Yeah, fish him all the time. Drops in all the time. Fucking my best mate, man. Nearly killed him in the Camry driving down to Troy Boys to chase mackerel. I sent his photo of that.
No, I haven't heard that one.
Hang on, righto. So, mackerel season. Fucking Troy Boy called me. He's like, Spotty's rear cunt. I'm knocking over 500 kilo a morning. Fuck yeah, I'm in. G'd up, Adzi. I had this little Camry, a white Camry. Fucking G'd up, Adzi. He's like, yep, I'm keen. I was like, right, I'll pick you up at fucking 2:30 in the morning, and we'll drive down. 2.5 hour drive from here. I'll pick him up at 2:30. I went to bed at 1 o'clock. Woke up at 20 past 2, so I slept for an hour and 20 minutes. And a couple of weeks before, I put a light bar on the Camry, and it was too powerful, so it melted the fuse out of the fuse box. So I had no high beams. I only had fucking normal low beam lights. So I picked Adzi up. We start charging down the Grafton Hill, the Gibraltar Range. Get to the bottom of the cunt, and here's this big fucking gum tree smack bang across the road. We come around a corner. I was sitting on 80, 90. Come around the corner, and it was too late. Like, it was 20 metres to the cunt. And I said to him, look, I remember yelling out, hold the fuck on, cunt. Backing it down through the gears, trying not to lock it up, knock some speed off before we hit. Like it was a big 4. The stump laying across the road would have been probably 10 foot round, and then the fork coming off the top of it would have been 4 or 5 foot round. And a few smaller limbs coming off it. I was about 10 yards away from the tree. I took my foot off the brake, put it in second, and put your foot flat on the accelerator to try and get the front wheels over the first log. Hit the log, bucked the car sideways in the air. We slid for probably 50 metres, smashed all the windows, caved in the roof, like fuck shit, pushed the engine through the dash, and the car stopped and it was dead silence. And all I could hear was the hazard lights going tick, 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 tick. I'm like, holy fuck, I just killed me best mate. I couldn't see him because the roof was crushed. I couldn't see him. I'm like, you alright, cunt? No answer. I was like, you alright, cunt? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm sweet. Couldn't open the door, and then we could see headlights from a semi coming over the hill, and we thought that this cunt was doing 100 k's an hour coming over the hill, going to fucking kill us. So he's out the window, and my door's that fucking crushed up, and there's glass everywhere, glass all through me. I'm trying to fucking climb out the window, and it's that contorted I couldn't get out of the cunt. I ended up like slivering out, snaking out, got cut the fuck up. This truck is doing 10 k's an hour. Comes over the hill with his high beams on, pulls up, and I'm in a daze walking up the road towards him. He's like, you right, mate? I'm like, yeah, we're alive. He goes, fuck me, I thought I was coming to find fucking car full of dead cunts. He pulled up half an hour before, couldn't get through, so he backed up to the top of the hill and sat there, and he was going to have a sleep and wait for the road crew to come and clear the tree. And we just happened to fucking hit it. So, and he called the coppers, couldn't get reception. He's like, fuck it, I need to get back on the road. I was like, can you drop us at Grafton, cunt? I was like, I ain't going home now, I'm going fucking fishing. I was like, shit can't get any worse. I had a 10-pack of OP runs, right? And all fishing gear. Adzi was at Friday, he left his brand new fucking 2 GoPros, GoPro 7s, on the fucking back seat, in plain view for every cunt to see. Left the car with a bag of weed in it, all my CDs, everything cunt. Right, went down, called Troy Boy, said pick us up from fucking Grafton, called him at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he thought I was bullshitting, and heard it in his voice. I'm like, cunt, I'm not bullshitting, I just about killed me and Ads. He picked us up from Grafton Macca's. He's like, right, I'm on my way, cunt. Picked us up from Grafton Macca's. I got claret pissing out of me everywhere. He's like, what happened, cunt? Told him, showed him a photo. Thank fuck Ads he took photos. I was too cooked to even think about taking a photo. This cunt's sitting there taking photos of the car after he nearly died, and I thought he was a fucking idiot. Looking back on it now, I'm glad he did. But fucking Troy Boy picked us up. I said to Ads, fuck this, I'm cracking a tinny cunt. By the time we hooked the pro boat up to Troy Boy's patrol and launched it, I was fucking munted. Like, between the shock and the rum, I was that cooked. But fuck, we got probably 400 kilo that morning, 450 kilo. Longtail, Mackies, like fucking spotted, Spanish, cobia, wahoo, dolphin fish. I'm looking for the photo now, I'll put it up in chat. I got some cunt's got to be out there looking fucking out for me, eh, boys?
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like the one with the when you're out fishing and someone who was it that split their fucking shin open or some shit?
Fuck
That was him again.
I'll send you a photo of this shit again, cunt. I'll send you a photo, hang on. I can find this car. Right, so we fucking went out Rangers Valley for the day. Blowing a fucking gale, I took my 10 weight, gonna turn over some big flies, try and catch a meatery. Blowing that hard I can't cast, right? So I'm sitting down having a mix. Made it up into this big hole, and Adzi's throwing Garuda, right? The fucking Garuda, big double jointed. And he's belting it, and he is blowing a gale, and he's getting weeded up and shit. So he's got it 10 foot off the bank, and it's covered in a ball of weed. He cracks the shits and gives it a big flick with his rod. It come fucking flying out of the drink and stuck straight into his leg, like 6 inches below his hip, right? Straight in front of his leg. We got no knife, nothing sharp, and he's wearing fucking heavy duty fishing pants, right? The hook's gone through his fucking fishing pants, through his boxers, into his leg. And he can't walk, right? And I'm like, fuck, the lure's 250, 300 grams, so it's just tearing a hole in him every time he takes a load off him. So he fucking, I said, right, cunt, stay here, I'll go and see what I can find. All I could find was a piece of old goat bone. That was it. Fucking cracked a piece of goat bone off, cut the fucking pants from around the hook, took the hook off the lure, started walking back, right? He's in his jocks. I'm like, right, he's sorted, he's okay. He can walk, we can get home. All good. So we walk up into the horseshoe hole to jump the creek, the start of the horseshoe hole. That's how we cross the river to get back up to the ute. So we get to the hole where we jump, and there's a fucking piece of barbed wire laying in the grass that he couldn't see. So he's jumped, his fucking back foot got caught in the barbed wire, and it's just stopped him mid-air. Dead set stopped him, and he fell on his shin, hit the rock. Right, I thought he hit the hook that was hooked into his leg, so I started laughing. He's fallen on this rock, and he's squealing, laying on his back like a little bitch, and I was like, suck in, cunt, slow the fuck down. I'm cracking up laughing, he stands up, and I see this fucking gaping big slit in his shin, like 4 or 5 inches wide, and from halfway down his shin right up to his knee, and I was like, holy fuck. And he's bouncing around like a headless chook. I screamed at him, sit the fuck down and let me sort the cunt out. Sit the fuck down. So he sat down. He had a face mask, a bandana. Grabbed that cunt, ripped down the guts, put it round the back of his leg, and tied it together so it pulled the cut together. Fucking chucked him over one shoulder and dragged the cunt out of the paddock back up onto the road. I had no licence, I had a couple of tinnies, I drove the ute back into town, drove him to hospital, called Joe and said, as he's fucked, like I can see his shin bone, and have to go and get the cunt sewed up, took him to hospital. This little fucking Indian bitch tried to rip the hook out backwards while he's squealing, like pulling it 6 inches, literally lifting it 6 inches off his leg, and the whole skin's coming with it. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Give the pliers to Bevo, he knows what he's fucking doing, fuck you. And she just would not let me do it. Told her how to do it. She finally got the fucking hook out. That was all good. I was like, sweet, put that cunt in a cup and take it home for a souvenir. And then I was like, you going to stitch his leg up? And the lady goes, no, can't do anything because he's been in the river. He's got river water and mud in it. I said, you're the fucking hospital cunt. Sew him up. Like, what, you think we're going to take him to the GP and they're going to fix it? Like, we're at the hospital. Fucking clean the cunt out and sew it up. She's like, no, I can't. So he goes 2 days later, gets a doctor's appointment, goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, they should sew that up, dude, you could lose your leg. All infected, like fucked right up, put him on hardcore antibiotics. He never got stitches, he's still got a fucking scar the size of like a switchblade up his fucking shin. It was crazy, man, couldn't believe it. And that bitch ended up losing the job.
Good.
Fuck, too many complaints. Here you go, boys, I found the photo of the Camry, have a look at this shit. This is the same as the one that I just bought too.
Yeah, I'll have a switch after the stream. Unfortunately, because I can't capture the screen, I can't see it. Right. I suppose, why don't you tell us about Josie? How'd you two meet?
Oh yeah, right, this is a story. So, I fucking had a mate, and me and Joyce were always around each other, but never met each other until it was the right time, until we were supposed to get together. So, Mitch Fing was my best mate for fucking 4 or 5 years, and he was just a dog, ended up being a fucking putrid cunt. Anyway, he met Joyce and the dude that Joyce was with before me, and started going out and smoking cans with him and shit. And he got in a fight one night, and I was sort of a bit of a mince head, so I grabbed the piece and fucking ripped round there. I was about to jump the back fence and start shooting cunts. Little I know it was Josie's house. She's having a party. I ended up grabbing the thing, walking out, chucking back in the truck, and that was the first time that we should have met, and it would have been on a real bad turn. But anyway, fucking a couple of years later, it was the dude that Joyce was with before me. He had a patrol, and like, I'm fucking, I can hold my own when it comes to fixing trucks, especially old trucks. And he needed a new starter motor, but didn't have the coin to buy any new shit. And I was like, fuck dude, I'm gonna pull them apart, put them back together, and we'll see how we go. So I fucking went out, fixed some shit, put it all back together, got the truck running, met Josie, and she's like, I'll come out for a mix one out of cunt, right. And the chick that I was with, we went to a doof, and ended up back at Josie and her man's place, and stayed there the night. I started talking to Josie and shit, ended up breaking up with this other chick, and somehow I ended up fucking living out at Joseph's place, this other cunt that she was with. And I was out the front, I was gardening, I was growing wheat and fucking gardening. I was out the front digging up the garden, putting old fish carcasses in the garden, fucking turn it over. And she walked out the front, still with this other cunt, looks at me and she goes, "Why the fuck am I so attracted to you, cunt?" And that was it. I was like, that'll fucking game on. This other cunt was a fuckwit, so I started fucking her while she was still with him. I was like, this is shady as fuck. Dead set. Like, I can't. At first, I was like, how can I have this bitch as a missus when she's doing this shady shit? And then I just realised how much of a fuckwit he was, and she just wanted out. I was like, fuck it, let's go and do our own thing. Fucking get our own place, get rid of him, and that was it.
And then obviously you had your Luna.
Yep, 3 years ago. Fucking had a little squirt.
The one-handed bandit.
One-handed bandit.
Well, I want to tell people what you're talking about there.
Oh yeah, so Luna was born without her left hand. It's anterior banding, is it called, Nick? How Luna lost a hand? Anterior banding? Amniotic banding. So the womb wall, it's like docking a sheep's tail. So the wall of the womb, when the arm hits it, throws a band across it and just chops it off, chops the hand off, and severs it, and the female body just chews it back up and uses it as nutrients in the pregnancy. So he fucking went and had an ultrasound, and looking back at it now, you can see a hand floating like 4, 5, 6 inches away from the body. And it just shouldn't have been there. The cunt that done the scans thought we were going to sue her and shit. Like, because she missed it and it was such a fuck up. But we didn't care. Fucking made no difference to us. As long as she's healthy, she's right. But she popped out. I'll never forget. She fucking crazy labour. Like, couldn't feel my hands. Miss was fucking squeezing my arm that tight. And she finally popped out. And I seen her arm. And I think it was the sister-in-law or the mother-in-law said, "Oh, she's only got one hand." And fucking Phil, the doctor, he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, she's only got one hand." Like, he thought that I was going to fucking flog him or something. Eh? Didn't know what to say. Right. And I remember sitting there when she popped out, looking at it, and I thought in my brain for some reason that a hand would fold out like a blow up when you blow up a fucking. That a hand would just fucking
pop out.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know why. I just thought that's how they were born. And I thought, oh yeah, it'll blow out any second here, it'll be all good. And nothing happened, and I'm like, and that's when it sort of sunk in. And I thought about it for about a second. I was like, it does not fucking matter. Picked her up, happy as pig in shit. Been game on ever since. She can cast a fly rod, she can fight her own fish. That's the only fucking two things that matter to me, boys.
Mate,
well,
hasn't slowed her
down.
down.
Not any different, really.
Oh fuck. Apart from having a fucking bombie knocker on one hand, she had one arm, Jesus Christ.
We hear that every now and then.
The bones are cut off, man. So it's like a fucking get stabbed with a sword. She climbs up on you, jams it in your throat, you can't breathe. It drops you from the fucking nerve. Dead set. She'll never get fucked with by anything. Yeah. Just bull, fucking stump puncher.
Fucking hell. Alright. Where do you see yourself in 10 years, mate? Where do you expect to be?
Living my best life. Watching my kid grow up. Enjoying myself with my missus. Sitting on the back deck. Looking out over a 5-acre trout pond. With 10 clients every day of the week fishing it.
Yeah.
That's me.
Still going to be guiding. Obviously you're
100%.
enjoying it a bit more than the rest of it. You settled down a bit too.
Yeah, sort of. The last couple of years I've really had to think about it, man. Like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I don't want to go backwards, so. There's stick with the devil you know rather than the devil you don't.
That's it. Oh, that's good. I appreciate the all the stories, dude. The podcast, it'll be on there forever.
Thank you, boys.
Be able to look back.
It feels like we just started. It's 4 hours later.
Yeah. No, we've been going for a while. It's
good.
It's been really good. Good for the
good.
first.
Good stories.
Yeah, I'm sure
play
there'll
a
be.
big fucking table of poker now.
We certainly can. Or we can focus on the poker a bit more.
Sounds good. That was awesome, boys. Thank you.
We'll wrap it up
Thanks,
there.
Bevo.
We'll get, as I said, I'll try and get other boys in too and see if we can get some stories going with them too. I
Yeah,
reckon.
if you can get Langer, fuck, he'd be a gold podcast, that cunt.
Yeah,
Dead
I
set.
reckon.
Fuck, he'd be good.
He'd
I'd
have
like-
some good.
I'd like to get
stories.
Aussie Wildlife too. Old Zach.
He's got a lot of stories, that dude. He's a lot of stories. Half of them involve me. Yeah.
No, we'll do
He'd
it.
definitely be a good one. I tried to call him not yesterday, the day before, but he's working.
Oh yeah. He cleaning.
Yeah, he's fucking running fucking 3 shops on his own. Cleaning 3 shops on his own. Bloody good.
Yeah. Right, we'll wrap it up there.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, and
Thanks, everyone.
we'll probably get you for a Bevo 2.0 at some stage.
There's plenty more stories, boys. We just need to write a list.
Get it going. All right, mate. Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Hey.